Speed chase ended in a crash.
From the moments that matter.
Let's take a look at those live pictures right now from Sky 5, and you can see
when seconds count.
Authorities say they are very concerned for the safety of the public. And
when your safety is the priority.
It's still an active scene. Take a look behind me.
And we begin at 6 with that breaking news. Hello and thanks for joining us. I'm Gerald Owens.
Watch WRAL News. Breaking news coverage you can count on.
T-Mobile has an exclusive bundle for customers 55 and up.
I'm Sarah Bowl.
Yeah, I'm Frank Bowl.
A reliable network is key for us. And with T-Mobile, it's been wonderful. And going to the 55-plus plan saved us so much money.
A lot.
And that's important. Trying to keep costs down. The home internet's been perfect. It's fast, it's quick. The setup was so easy, it took less than 15 minutes.
It was like, ta-da! If you want simplicity, coverage, reliability, you want the whole package, T-Mobile has it.
Right now, T-Mobile customers 55 and up can get 2 phone lines on America's best network, plus America's fastest 5G home internet for just $30 each.
$30 per month each line with autopay plus taxes and fees. Minimum age 55. Pricing for home internet rely on 2 lines of Essentials. Choice 55. $35 connection charge per line required. Best mobile network and fastest 5G home internet based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 2H 2025. All rights reserved.
HIV is not a crime, or it shouldn't be. People living with HIV can do and live fully healthy lives
without risk of transmitting the virus to others.
But a different fear remains.
In 30 states, Americans are being imprisoned due to their HIV status.
It's time for the laws to catch up to science.
Join the Elizabeth Taylor AIDS Foundation to modernize outdated HIV criminalization laws. Go to etaf.org.
HIV is not a crime.
Campaign funded through the support of Gilead Sciences, Incorporated.
The next disaster is coming. The time to get ready is now. Make a plan. Choose meetup locations and keep a contact list. Build a kit with food and water. Don't forget your pets. Keep extra medicine on hand. Make copies of key documents and keep them somewhere safe. Stay informed, learn about local hazards, and sign up for alerts. Be ready. Learn more at americares.org/send-us-in.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
They score! Broadcasting live from the Eagle Leasing Storage Studio. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Canes light the lamp here.
Midday on your Tuesday, temperatures in the 80s, highs today low 90s with humidity levels dropping into the afternoon. Overnight temperatures near 70, highs upper 90s Wednesday, and the potential for triple-digit heat from Thursday through the weekend. I'm meteorologist Chris Michaels in the WRAL Severe Weather Center.
3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 150 points today to 52,332.
Breaking news out of the NBA. Our Shams Charania reporting that after 8 years, LeBron James will be playing a record 24th season in the NBA, but it will not be with Los Angeles.
It's down to Jose Canales. A few have been in this position for Paraguay, but he scores! Paraguay have done it! Paraguay have won it! And they booted Germany out of the World Cup!
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The World Cup magic is real right now. World Cup magic is in full effect. It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox sitting in for Tim Donnelly once again this afternoon. Max Gorin producing the show today. If you enjoy the World Cup, you had a couple penalty kicks last night, or a couple games go to penalty kicks, including the Paraguay win over Germany. Massive upset. That same Paraguay team that the United States beat 4-1 to start the World Cup. We're going to forget the fact that Paraguay beat Turkey and the United States didn't because we played our backups. Max, doesn't matter. United States in action tomorrow. Norway on to the round of 16. They just beat the Ivory Coast 2-1. Let's just say I benefited from that win.
First ever knockout stage win for Norway in the World Cup.
Canes legend, Erling Haaland, scoring the game winner. Huge Caniac. Speaking of the Carolina Hurricanes, Max, some things might be moving in the right direction if you like John Carlson. That's the rumors floating around. Let's get this sucker started with the Big 3 at 3.
Number 1.
The Big 3 at 3 presented by Maynard Service Company. Heating, cooling, electric, plumbing, you name it. They're there to help service your home when you need it. MaynorServices.com, MAYNOR Services.com. Max, let's start off right at number 1. The latest in the NHL, in particular the Carolina Hurricanes. And get to refresh people's memories, the Carolina Hurricanes back over the weekend during the NHL draft acquired the rights to defenseman John Carlson from the Anaheim Ducks. John Carlson pending unrestricted free agent. Carolina Hurricanes traded for him and his rights, so they have the ability to negotiate with him before NHL free agency begins tomorrow at noon. So right now, technically, he is a Carolina Hurricane, just doesn't have a contract going into next season. But according to Chris Johnston, writes for The Athletic, as well as part of TSN up in Canada, said this just a couple hours ago in terms of what's the sense of John Carlson signing with the Carolina Hurricanes.
For John Carlson, it's been a busy couple days. His rights were acquired by the Carolina Hurricanes at the draft. Negotiations on a contract have been happening here over the last 48 hours since that happened. And my sense, at least of Tuesday morning, was that was headed in the right direction, that John Carlson liked the prospect of playing in Carolina. He wants a chance to win again before the end of his career. And obviously joining the former Stanley Cup champions and the Hurricanes would give him that opportunity. Of course, so the deal isn't fully done until it's done. But I would say that teams that were out there hoping to be bidding on Carlson on July 1st are going to have to look in another direction.
Did you hear that, Max? Moving in the right direction. Now, again, like Chris Johnston just said, it's not guaranteed. Nothing's done yet. Until there's pen to paper and that ink dries, nothing's guaranteed. But the impression that I get, that things are, like Chris Johnston just said, they're moving in the right direction. Now, if Carolina, in my opinion, if they feel like they cannot get this signing done with John Carlson, they can flip his rights, possibly even later on today to another team. All right, we had a chance. It didn't work out. All right, who wants the chance to jump to the front of the line before free agency actually opens? Is it you, Tampa? All right, cool. Send us a 5th-round pick. It's happened before. But it feels like, Max, things are moving in that direction.
Oh, yeah.
Which means, where there's smoke, there's fire. And I think that means also as well, Alexander Nikishin's going to be out the door. That's the impression that we're getting. Now, coming up here in about 10 minutes, we're going to talk a little bit more about if Carolina doesn't sign John Carlson. If this doesn't happen, what's the trickle-down effect? What are the 3 different possibilities if it's not John Carlson? We'll explore that here in about 10 minutes. But until then, we got to get to the second thing here on the Big 3 at 3.
Number 2.
Number 2 here on the Big 3 at 3 here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly. Dennis Cox in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. Max Gorin producing the show. The Big 3 presented by Maynard Service Company. It's the World Cup. Max, we just had a heater of a game between the Ivory Coast and Norway. Norway wins it 2-1. Norway's on the round of 16. You just mentioned a moment ago. Their first ever win in the knockout stage. We get more Norwegians here in the United States just rowing the boat. Just rowing the boat on to the next round. Last night we had Paraguay, big massive upset against Germany, going into not only through extra time, but into penalty kicks. That was a lot of fun. Netherlands last night as well. Did you watch that game, Max?
Yeah, Morocco, I think, was the better team most of the game, so I think they deserve to get that win, but disappointing exit for Netherlands, one of the higher scoring teams from the group stage. They scored 10 goals in the 3 group stage games. Held to 1, and I thought largely outplayed. This Morocco team could be one of the better African sides that there's been in the World Cup, of all time. It's just them and then their team from 2022, honestly, are two of the best African sides that there have been in this tournament.
And they got all the way to the semis back in 2022. So you got a bunch of guys who have been there, done it. I mean, that game last night was also just a ton of fun watching that. The World Cup, just as a whole, all these games have just, at least for the most part, these games have all just been so much fun.
Oh, yeah. So many late, game tying equalizers and winners in stoppage time. And we're only, 5 games into the knockout stage so far? There are 16 games in this round alone.
We have 2 more today. The United States plays tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. It's been so much fun to see, just so much fun to witness.
It's so good to have at this time of year where normally there wouldn't be very much going on. There's 3 games a day of just high drama, super intense international soccer.
See, I love this. This is why Norway's been so fun to watch, because as of right now, as we're watching on the television here in the studio, there's their captain or one of the guys wearing the armband is pounding the drum, and the Norwegian team is they're all sitting there like a bunch of kids, and all the fans in the stands are all just rowing the boat to the beat of the drum. That's awesome. Go Team USA. Team USA tomorrow, 8 o'clock. They're taking on Bosnia, and I never can pronounce the other part of that name.
Herzegovina.
Them, yes. Bosnia and Herzegovina. I struggle pronouncing that. But they take on Bosnia and Herzegovina tomorrow. That's 8 o'clock. Max, heavy favorite. Heavy favorite, the United States. As they should be. As they should be.
Don't pull a Germany.
Don't do that. Don't do that. So much fun, the World Cup. So, again, that's just Norway, Ivory Coast. That's just the first game of today. By the way, they're playing in Dallas where the Cowboys play. That place is just completely packed. 100,000 people or whatever it was. So cool. All right, that's number 2. Let's get to number 3.
Number 3.
NBA free agency started. As much as we've got caught up with the NHL and free agency, NBA free agency starting as well. And Max, you played it right there in the open. LeBron James, no longer going to be an LA Laker. The rumor floating around out there is that the Golden State Warriors, by virtue of not picking up an option with Draymond Green and actually just signing him to an extension, opens the door for LeBron to actually go to Golden State. That's what's floating around out there. And then there's even the possibility of the Golden State Warriors even trying to talk with the Washington Wizards to get Anthony Davis to come over and play. Max, are you familiar with the movie The Expendables?
Yes.
You know, for those who don't know, the movie The Expendables came out, about 10 years ago or so. There's actually did 2 or 3 of the movies. But it's a lot of the older action movie stars, like Dolph Lundgren. It's Sylvester Stallone is the lead guy. You have Antonio Banderas. There's Jason Statham, Jean-Claude Van Damme. Bunch of these older guys that were big-time action stars in the 80s and 90s. And then they decided to get together for a couple runs here for a couple of movies, big, bunch of big explosions, action, all that kind of stuff. For a lot of guys that are older in age. That's what the Golden State Warriors are becoming. The Expendables. Guys that we all know. Now, don't get me wrong. Steph Curry is still a damn good player. LeBron James is still a pretty damn good player. But do we really expect them to make a massive, long playoff run in Golden State? If that's the thing that happens, I mean, I don't know. LeBron James is only going to play 65 games during the year. I think Anthony Davis just got hurt anytime you mention his name. I think he gets injured. And then Steph Curry is just an older player as well, who, by the way, has dealt with ankle injuries throughout his entire career as well.
Knees and ankles. There was a report, I think it was from Mark Stein, the Stein line on Twitter, that Golden State is at the front of the line in their pursuit of LeBron in free agency, and they are not operating as though they have a mandate to acquire Anthony Davis as well to make that happen. So they could get LeBron without Anthony Davis. Honestly, I'd be kind of surprised for the Wizards if they did that, because what's the whole point of bringing him in if you're immediately going to trade him before he even plays a game? But, given his injury history, I wouldn't be the worst thing if I was Washington to try to get something and get rid of him before that happens. But I feel like Like, there are a couple teams maybe LeBron could go to, but it feels like the Warriors thing is just the heavy favorite and the pretty much most likely destination for him next season.
So there you go. That's what it is. But LeBron did tell the Lakers, I'm going to pursue other things. And that's fine. Like, you know what? And that's fair for the Lakers because they need an answer. I think it's also a respect thing on both sides. Hey, look, if you want to come play here, we'll work something out. If not, just let us know. Because otherwise we gotta start doing other things. And that's fine. So might see LeBron in a Golden State uniform. Why not? By the way, LeBron graduated high school 1 year before I did. So I remember actually being in high school, actually seeing some of the early footage of him, like on ESPN and so on, and seeing him, when he was in high school at St. Vincent St. Mary, and just being like, holy crap, this guy's 1 year older than me. So, I mean, he's still getting it done. Max, I have no excuse when we play men's league hockey, Max. I got no excuses. If LeBron can still go out there and do it, I gotta put some goals in.
If he's still averaging 20-plus points and 6 rebounds and 6 assists in the NBA, like, what excuse do we have to not at least get a point on the board?
I know, exactly. I got to be a point-per-game guy at least. Come on. Still working on it. Still working on that. It's the Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. Max Gorin producing the show. That's the Big 3 at 3 presented by Maynard Service Company. Max, the Carolina Hurricanes are right now in a position where they can make a big free agent signing. It's one of their own with John Carlson because they have his rights. They have until noon tomorrow before he hits the open market. We'll give you the latest on John Carlson. Also in 2 minutes, if John Carlson doesn't work out, what are 3 possibilities for the Carolina Hurricanes if John Carlson doesn't work out? We'll have that in 2 minutes.
It's bow time. Ordering Bojangles Bow Bites is the easiest choice you'll make today. The bite-sized hand-breaded chicken is fried to crispy perfection, making it perfect for sharing, snacking, or when you're on the go. Just don't call it a nugget. The only hard part is choosing from our 6 dipping sauces. We've got a sauce for every kind of craving, from our creamy house-made ranch to our sweet and spicy peach honey pepper sauce. It all depends on what kind of mood you're in. Head to your nearest Bojangles today and discover the dippable, shareable, and craveable Bow Bites. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to head on over to Bojangles to try Bojangles' new Bow Bites. Bite-sized, hand-breaded chicken fried to crispy perfection. On the go, they're perfect for snacking or sharing. Dipped in your favorite sauce like creamy house-made ranch or peach honey pepper, they're the perfect way to satisfy your craving for flavor and value. Try Bojangles' new Bow Bites. It's an easy choice to make when it's bow time.
If you have a 2, 3, or 4% mortgage rate, don't refinance it. You don't have to, but you can still get cash out of your home. Introducing Loan Pronto's zero-cost equity loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. That's right. With Loan Pronto, you can get all the cash you need without touching your first mortgage and without any fees. One local homeowner just got $100,000, paid off all their credit cards, paid off their existing HELOC, remodeled their kitchen, and saved over $1,500 per month. It gets better. There's no hard credit pull up front, usually no appraisal, no long drawn-out process, and listen, no closing costs. You may be able to even skip your next 2 house payments. Call Loan Pronto now. Leave your low-rate mortgage intact, but get the cash you need in as little as 2 weeks without paying closing costs. LoanPronto.com. See how much you can get right now. Call 919-381-1760. That's 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. For qualified homeowners, equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
One-timer. Score! Beautiful passing and a blast from John Carlson.
Max, I know you're probably like me at this time of year when a free agency is about to happen in the National Hockey League and all these trades and stuff are taking place. You're constantly just refreshing the feed, right? There's just all this influx of, I mean, it's just, I want to say information.
I'm doing it right now.
I mean,
I'm constantly refreshing my feeds in here.
Constantly refreshing. Hey, what's next? What's going on with John Carlson and the Carolina Hurricanes? As we continue here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. Max Gorin producing the show. We got actually a little bit more insight on John Carlson, whom the Carolina Hurricanes traded for his rights just this past weekend, just a few days ago. 36-year-old defenseman, could still play, could still get it done, could take over your power play, be a top unit. He's not a small guy either, 6'3", 220, right-handed shot. Could probably plug in on a top four of your defense, no problem. Real quick, we played the soundbite earlier. I want to play it again. This was earlier today, literally just a couple of hours ago. Chris Johnston, who writes for The Athletic, covers the NHL, big insider, also works for TSN up in Canada as well. On TSN, earlier today, 2 hours ago, Chris Johnston said this in regards to what's the sense of John Carlson signing with Carolina.
You know, for John Carlson, it's been a busy couple days. His rights were acquired by the Carolina Hurricanes at the draft. Negotiations on a contract have been happening here over the last 48 hours since that happened. And my sense, at least of Tuesday morning, was that was headed in the right direction, that John Carlson liked the prospect of playing in Carolina. He wants a chance to win again before the end of his career. And obviously joining the former Stanley Cup champions and the Hurricanes would give him that opportunity. Of course, so the deal isn't fully done until it's done. But I would say that teams that were out there hoping to be bidding on Carlson on July 1st are going to have to look in another direction.
Headed in the right direction, which feels like a deal is imminent, right? From everything we just heard Chris Johnston say, it feels like a deal is imminent for John Carlson and the Carolina Hurricanes. Now, we talked yesterday a bit, and if you can go check out that conversation on our YouTube page, 99.9 The Fan on YouTube. Also, download the 99.9 The Fan app. It's for free. Because here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan, we try and get down to what-if scenarios. John Carlson, if he does sign, if he doesn't. So yesterday, what does it mean if John Carlson signed with the team? We said likely means that Alexander Nikishin is out the door to another team in some way, shape, or form, sign and trade or just a straight-up trade to be determined, right? If you sign John Carlson, there is that trickle-down effect about all the other moves that you could possibly make as a team or can't make as a team because it eats into your cap space. But until there's pen to paper, Max, until something has actually happened, if John Carlson doesn't get done, if they just can't get this thing across the finish line for whatever reason, what's the next option for the Carolina Hurricanes? I'm going to give you three options here. Max, number one, they can continue to pursue Zach Werenski from Columbus, the Columbus Blue Jackets. Now, Chris Johnston earlier today, Max, if we could pull up the latest on Zach Werenski here from Chris Johnston. The Carolina Hurricanes have been rumored to be in pursuit, or one of the teams heavily in pursuit of Zach Werenski, the defenseman from the Columbus Blue Jackets, the reigning Norris Trophy winner for best defenseman in the NHL. And Chris Johnston, part of that same conversation where he mentioned John Carlson, also gave the latest on Zach Werenski.
Well, at this stage, obviously, been kind of an emotional time, I think, on both sides for Werenski's camp and for the Blue Jackets as they kind of process everything going public. It does sort of complicate, I think, the trade process. But where the Blue Jackets are is they're sorting through the offers or the packages that they believe will be available to them, trying to get a sense of maybe the best way for them to proceed on their side of the table. And at some point in time, I do think they're going to have to get on the same page as Werenski himself, because obviously the player here has a no-movement clause. You know, you have teams like the Dallas Stars, the Philadelphia Flyers, the Toronto Maple Leafs, Tampa Bay Lightning, Carolina Hurricanes, among others, with interest in Werenski. But, you know, at some point in time, they're going to have to line up what the best return could be for the team and a place that Zach Werenski himself wants to play. So, you know, as much as he is under contract for 2 more years, and I think that we still are kind of in the early stages of the trade discussions, there's an understanding that allowing this to go on for an extended amount of time will be difficult. And so I think at some point in the coming days, maybe a week or so, we'll see the trade talks narrow in and ultimately get to a spot where the Blue Jackets can deal Werenski.
Okay, So that's Chris Johnston, The Athletic, as well as with TSN, on TSN, discussing the latest on Zach Werenski. So the reason why we discuss Zach Werenski right now is if John Carlson, if this signing doesn't happen, the first option, they can continue to pursue Zach Werenski. Now, there's pros and cons to that, Max. On the pro side of things, you do get a player that can quarterback your power play. Is there, like I mentioned, the reigning Norris Trophy winner for best defenseman in the NHL, and is also just simply one of the top 5 defensemen in the entire league. The pros and cons to this, on the con side of things, A, it's going to cost a lot, including Alexander Nikishin, and a lot of other assets that the Carolina Hurricanes do have at their disposal, including picks, prospects, but it also may take another player currently on your roster on top of probably Jesperi Kotkaniemi, because people say, oh, throw Jesperi Kotkaniemi into the mix. Well, okay, fine. I also want someone else. Plus, with Zach Werenski, he has 2 years left on his contract where he's making just over $9.5 million on average annual value. And you're going to want to extend him, but that's also not going to be cheap either. I'd much rather, if you can, sign John Carlson to 2 years at $9.5 million, and you didn't give up any of your assets to get him. That's why John Carlson, to me, is the better fit for right now. Now, there is the younger side of things, or at least the younger Zach Werenski does have more long-term in it as well. So the first thing is, again, if you don't sign John Carlson, 3 options. 1, you can continue to pursue Zach Werenski from Columbus. The second option is, if you trade Alexander Nikishin, you can add another defenseman, possibly from within your own organization, with a Charles Alexis Legault or Yoel Nystrom, or maybe a defenseman that possibly comes back as part of a trade. Now, there's the pro side to promoting from within. Again, Charles Alexis Legault or Yoel Nystrom. Adding from within your organization for the Carolina Hurricanes is certainly more cost-effective. Legault, Charles Alexis Legault, just 22 years old. He has the physical profile you want in a player. He's 6'4", 220. He has a physical edge to himself as well. He ain't afraid to shed the mitts. Plus, he plays the right side, right-handed, and is under cost control for a few more years. Yoel Nystrom, while a smaller player, is also right-handed, and he's already locked up on a contract for the next 4 years at about $1.2 million per year. So the cost control is already there. Now, on the downside, if you trade Nikishin, don't get Zach Werenski, you don't sign John Carlson. If you bring in someone else, you have to worry about, obviously, the cost of that player, the fit, how well that player fits into the locker room, the fit on the ice, and likely they're probably not going to be as good as Alexander Nikishin. And the third option is, if you don't sign John Carlson, Max, here's the third option. You could just re-sign Alexander Nikishin to an extension. You could, if you find the right term that you feel is fit, you could just re-sign Alexander Nikishin to an extension. Pro side of that, he's already one of your guys. You don't have to worry about him in regards to learning your system, adjusting to your locker room, and he has a physical profile that, well, let's be honest, every team wants. Now, on the con side of things, about extension with Alexander Nikishin, I think this is what's kind of hanging things up right now, is the contract that he's asking for worth what you think his value is? Now, that's obviously what happens with any potential free agent. But right now, he's a third-pair defenseman. He's not going to play on the left side ahead of Jacob Slavin or Keandre Miller, who are both under contract for the next 7 years. And if you think he's going to be a top-pair defenseman playing on his offside alongside Slavin in the very near future, then yeah, a long-term deal at the reported $8 million per year could be worth it. But you have to determine if he is going to be a top line or top pair or top 4 defenseman playing on his offside next to Slavin or next to Keandre Miller.
Yeah, I don't think the front office and management is too bullish on the idea of him being on the offside.
Mm-hmm.
And if it were to be an extension, I highly doubt that we'd see it at long-term at that $8 million number.
No.
I think ultimately if he doesn't get dealt, that extension is going to be more of a bridge deal in the $6 million range, maybe 2 or 3 years. And that gives him a chance to develop his game and his resume where when he does hit free agency for the next contract, he can get a big payday, whether that's here or whether that's elsewhere. So I'm thinking if they're not able to get a deal done in terms of a trade, maybe the agent and the representation kind of pivot to that. They're like, all right, we'll take the bridge deal. This is honestly, it's very reminiscent to me of Marty Necas's contract situation.
Very similar.
When he signed his bridge deal here a couple of years ago.
I was literally about to say it's similar to Martin Necas, which, by the way, okay, if you sign a 2-year bridge deal, okay, that's fine. You're just kicking the can down the road because you're going to be right back in this situation. And if he plays to the way that a lot of people anticipate in terms of his offensive production, his physical size, and everything along those lines, well, guess what? The cost is only going to go up even higher, which in that case, you're really not going to be able to afford it probably. Now, great, I understand the salary cap goes up, but again, what is the team willing to pay? So that's the question go forward. So do you kick the can down the road a couple of years? Now, you could he's not arbitration eligible as Alexander Nikishin with the Carolina Hurricanes. He's not eligible for an offer sheet from another team. So you did issue a qualifying offer for him as a restricted free agent. So if you don't come to terms on a deal, you could just play this season on the qualifying offer, which I don't think either side really wants because then it leaves a bad taste in people's mouths, and it's just not good business, I think, as a whole. So we'll see. All pending on if John Carlson does sign, which, by the way, it feels like could be happening. It's the impression that we get. So the Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. Max Gorin producing the show. Max, as we await news around the Carolina Hurricanes, as we await news in that regard, there's still a couple of things floating around in the college sports world that we need to address on the Dean's List. Coming up.
Tim Donnelly here for Bailey's Fine Jewelry. In our area, we've been celebrating a lot of championships recently, right? Teams, professional athletes have reached the pinnacle of their profession. Well, they're not the only ones that can do that, right? And if you have a career milestone that you're celebrating, what better way to mark that occasion than with a luxury timepiece from Bailey's Fine Jewelry? Promotion, retirement, a new job, starting your own business, whatever it is, a luxury timepiece on your wrist will allow you to always remember how proud you are that your hard work paid off. Bailey's Fine Jewelry in the Village District of Raleigh, where they have the Fox and Bailey Watch Shop and so many expert customer service representatives. That's where you need to go to make sure that you're not just dropping a lot of cash on a watch. You are purchasing a milestone piece that you will treasure for the rest of your life. It's Bailey's Fine Jewelry, Village District location. Make sure they know you heard about it from me on 99.9.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-881-8686. That's 800-881-8686. 800-881-8686.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-258-5535. 800-258-5535. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-258-5535.
Max, I keep refreshing the feed, trying to see if John Carlson has signed with the Carolina Hurricanes. Still just waiting for that moment, right? We're all anticipating it. If you're just joining us, The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. Max Gorin producing the show. I want to play this soundbite one more time, Max, for the people, just in case people have missed this regarding the Carolina Hurricanes. For those who, again, just to refresh some memories. Carolina Hurricanes traded for the rights for defenseman John Carlson, who is set to be one of the top unrestricted free agents in the entire NHL. They went ahead and traded for his rights from the Anaheim Ducks. By the way, John Carlson spent pretty much his entire career with the Washington Capitals, won a Stanley Cup with them, also won a gold medal with Team USA in the World Junior Championships, actually scored the game-winning goal in the gold medal game back in 2010, if I remember correctly. And he actually was traded to the Anaheim Ducks at the trade deadline this past season, so just back in March. So the Canes traded for his rights, hoping to sign him before free agency begins. Chris Johnston of The Athletic, as well as TSN up in Canada, had this to say regarding the sense he gets of John Carlson and Carolina reaching a deal.
You know, for John Carlson, it's been a busy couple days. His rights were acquired by the Carolina Hurricanes at the draft. Negotiations on a contract have been happening here over the last 48 hours since that happened. And my sense, at least of Tuesday morning, was that was headed in the right direction, that John Carlson liked the prospect of playing in Carolina. He wants a chance to win again before the end of his career. And obviously joining the former Stanley Cup champions and the Hurricanes would give him that opportunity. Of course, so the deal isn't fully done until it's done. But I would say the teams that were out there hoping to be bidding on Carlson on July 1st are going to have to look in another direction.
So it feels like a deal is imminent. We're refreshing the feeds, folks. And trust me, if the breaking news hits, we will have it. All right, Max. Until we wait for that breaking news, let's hit the Dean's List. Let's put class in session. All right, to lead off the Dean's List, as the World Cup is taking place, Max, you know what I'm going to throw on the Dean's List? I'm going to throw a Cooper Flag. Guess who was out there in Dallas for Norway and Ivory Coast? All of a sudden, it's late in the game. Oh, hey, look, there's Cooper Flag just watching the World Cup out there in Dallas. He's at that status where he's like, oh, let's cut to the celebrities. There's Cooper Flag. Must be living a life right now. To think that last season as a rookie in the NBA was supposed to be his freshman year in college. He's living a life right now. Max also on the Dean's List. We got to throw in the Knippel family. Max, you talked about it earlier today on Next Up on with Paul Ihaner this morning as you produced that show from 9 to 10 right here on 99.9 The Fan. There's another Knippel. Max, give the latest on Duke commit. Another Knippel. Con Knippel's younger brother, being the part of the class of 2027.
Yep. Cager Knippel, 6'10" forward. He's the 44th overall prospect in the 2027 class, according to Rivals. Committed to Duke last night. So he is the first commit for John Shire and Duke in the 2027 class, continuing the Knippel legacy as over there for the Blue Devils. So we'll see him as part of the Brotherhood, not this coming season, but the season after.
They're like the next Plumleys. They're the next Plumleys. That's what they are. So good for the Knippel family. Good for them. By the way, Max, I want to throw in on the Dean's List. By the way, do you have anyone you want to throw on the Dean's List, Max? Anybody?
Yeah, I'll throw Diana Schneider, NC State alumna, just won her first-round matchup at Wimbledon earlier today over Ava Liss. She was actually down, I think, 5-2 in the first set, and it ended up winning in straight sets. So actually came back, won that first set 7-5, and then kind of cruised to the victory there in 2. So shout out Diana Schneider. She actually, I think she went to either the semifinal or the final of the French Open last month as well. So She's in pretty good form right now, making some noise as a Wolfpack alumna.
You said she went to NC State. Good for her. See, just lulled her opponent into a false sense of security, 5-2, swept them. Just like what the Canes did to the Montreal Canadiens. False sense of security, sweep them. All right, Max, I'm going to throw a couple more schools out here on the Dean's List. I'm actually going to throw the University of North Carolina on the Dean's List. So they have what's known as the Learfield Directors Cup. So it's a combination of, it's a joint effort between the National Association of Collegiate Directors of Athletics as well as the USA Today. So they kind of join together, and they have basically this point system where athletic departments throughout the entire country accumulate points depending on how certain teams finish nationally during the course of the year. Like, so for example, like women's lacrosse at North Carolina reaching a national championship game. Now they lost, but reaching a national championship game earns you a certain number of points. Same thing with UNC baseball, getting to the national championship, the College World Series, falling just short one game in the third game of that 3-game series against Oklahoma, but still getting there earns you a certain level of points as well. So the ACC had 3 teams in the top 5, Max. 3 in the top 5. Stanford was second, Virginia was 5th, but fourth was UNC, the Directors Cup. Now this is all-encompassing national. So this is talking about the strength of your athletic department as a whole on a national scale. UNC finished 4th in the Directors Cup. Wake Forest, also there in the top 55. They finished 54th. But also, I cannot forget here, Max, Duke finished 11th in the Directors Cup. NC State 22nd. So 3 teams here in the triangle all finished in the top 25 of the Directors Cup. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. So shout out North Carolina. You make the Dean's List. Duke, you make the Dean's List. And NC State, you made the Dean's List. Because guess what? Finishing the top 25 nationally, again, this is encompassing all sports. It's a good spot to be in. It just goes to show you, like, how strong of an athletic department you have as a whole.
There were, the only national championship won in the triangle this year didn't NC State won women's cross country?
Again?
Is that right?
Yeah.
But there were a couple national championship appearances too. You mentioned women's lacrosse for North Carolina. NC State men's soccer went to the national championship game. So while there weren't as many titles taken home in this area, it's clear, you mentioned just based on the Directors Cup standings there, like many competitive programs in all sorts of sports, not just the revenue sports in football and basketball, but also in the other various sports as well. And, as a whole, I think the Triangle schools do well to have a baseline competitive level in most everything.
Yes, absolutely. Which I think is a good thing. Like, you can't just be like, hey, we have one good team and then everything else is kind of eh. You want to be good and competitive at everything. So there you go. That's the Dean's List. Class dismissed. Before we move on to talk a little bit more Carolina Hurricanes, Dennis Cox here. Real quick for my good friends over at Law Tigers. Folks, this is the time of year where things, let's be honest, the weather, it's hot, and it's only going to get even hotter out there. As a motorcycle rider, you get to make sure that you are physically in a good place in order to ride your motorcycle. One thing about a motorcycle that's different than obviously driving in a car is that, well, first of all, you don't have air conditioning to keep you cool. But second of all parts of your body are required in order to operate your motorcycle at a functional and safe level. Now, sometimes you're riding in a car, I can kind of let one hand relax, I can let another foot relax. You can't do that on a motorcycle. So if you're going to get out there on the road in this type of heat, make sure, A, you stay hydrated, and B, make sure you just take care of your body, that you're well-fed, and all that stuff, just to make sure you operate the bike properly. You don't want to be getting lightheaded, dizzy, and possibly passing out when you're riding a motorcycle in this type of weather. Keep yourself safe when you're out there on the road. But you could do all the right things and still find yourself in an accident in a motorcycle. And this is where Law Tigers steps in. If you're injured in a motorcycle accident, call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS even before you get in touch with the insurance company. Your case evaluation with Law Tigers is always free, and you don't pay a dime until your case settles. So give them a call, 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, or visit lawtigers.com. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm. It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. Max Gorin is producing the show. Free agency begins tomorrow at noon for the Carolina Hurricanes. Noon tomorrow. Well, it's noon across the entire NHL. It's also an opportunity for 4 players for the Carolina Hurricanes to sign contract extensions. We'll discuss those 4 players and if Carolina should look to extend them next.
Adam with Rush Hour Karting here. The last time the Canes came as a team and raced was 2006, the year they won the first cup. They came again this year, 20 years later, won the cup again. Rush Hour Karting brings out the best in people. Congratulations, Canes! We're Stanley Cup winners 2026. Woo!
Fire up your 4th with the North Carolina Courage. July 4th, bring the whole family out for a night packed with professional women's soccer, plus a 4th of July block party with samples from local breweries, barbecue, and plenty for fans to enjoy. Get tickets at nccourage.com.
Ever catch yourself hiding your smile in photos? If you're dealing with stained, uneven, crowded, or missing teeth, you're not alone, and you don't have to live with it. At Chapel Hill Family and Cosmetic Dentistry, Dr. James Ferguson and his team help patients transform their smiles every day using treatments like veneers, dental implants, and so much more. Whether you want a small refresh or a complete smile makeover, your plan is designed just for you. Come see what's possible. Visit chapelhilldds.com to request a consultation today.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter.
Dennis, we've got some breaking NBA news here.
That's right. Shams Charania. The LA Clippers are nearing a deal sending Kawhi Leonard to the Toronto Raptors for Brandon Ingram, former Duke player, Grady Dick, 2 first-round picks, 1 pick swap, and 2 second-rounders. So there you go. Brandon Ingram, former Duke Blue Devil, played for the Pelicans, played for the Raptors. Now looks like he's on his way to the LA Clippers as part of a trade involving Kawhi Leonard. So there you go. There's the latest involving that. The thing that we were told was going to happen, now it looks like it's officially coming to happen. So again, breaking news in the NBA. The LA Clippers are nearing a deal to send Kawhi Leonard to the Toronto Raptors, which, by the way, the team he won an NBA title with, his second title with. So Kawhi Leonard to the Raptors for Brandon Ingram, Grady Dick, 2 first-round picks, 1 pick swap, a couple second-rounders. So you go. He returns to Canada. 2 times final as MVP, by the way. 1-1 with the Spurs, 1-1 with the Raptors as well. He's a good player, but, man, he just can't stay on the court.
He played a good bit this past season. This past
year he did, which, by the way, that's the exception to the rule. Let's be honest. That was the exception.
It's like LaMelo.
Exactly. Can't deny his talent, but hey, so there you go. That's the big breaking news in the NBA. So Clippers sending a Kawhi Leonard to the Raptors. Clippers are going to get Brandon Ingram, former Duke basketball player, Grady Dick, 2 first-round picks, 1 swap, a couple second-rounders as well. That's actually a pretty good return for the Clippers. It's just not a bad return for the Clippers. I think Grady Dick's actually a pretty good player.
Also depends on the protections on the picks.
Yeah, there's that kind of stuff too, but like overall, it's still not a.
Yeah,
I don't think that's a bad haul back for
not at
Kawhi.
all for a team that we know probably is not going to be competitive anyway. Even if they still had Kawhi on the roster. I mean, they did this past year, and then they did the weird send out James Harden at the deadline, kind of out of nowhere, and then they're just ready to kind of reset and start rebuilding for the future.
Speaking of rebuilding for the future, it's the Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. Max Scoren, producer of the show. Talking about building towards the future. Even though the Carolina Hurricanes just won a Stanley Cup. Just won a cup. Eric Tolsky and that front office have to quickly turn the page over because guess what? Free agency starts tomorrow, noon. There's trades that are already happening. Carolina Hurricanes themselves have been part of one of those trades to get John Carlson, the defenseman from the Anaheim Ducks, whom they are trying to sign to a contract extension. But also at noon tomorrow, not only does the free agency, the new league year begin, at noon tomorrow is also when players that have 1 year left on their contract are eligible to sign extensions with their current teams. Now, this Canes team will eventually need an injection of youth. Now, guys currently on the roster, these are guys currently on the roster that are age 30 or over. Nikolai Ehlers just turned 30 back in February. Eric Robinson just turned 31 just this month, just a couple of weeks ago. William Carrier will turn 32 in December. Mark Jankowski will turn 32 in September. Jordan Martinook will turn 34 next month in July. Taylor Hall will turn 35 early in the season in November. Nick Delorier is 35 years old. And Jordan Stahl will turn 38 just before the season starts in September. So 8 of your forwards are age 30 or over. Now, on the back end, on defense, you have Jalen Chatfield just turned 30 last month in May. Sean Walker will turn 32 in September just before the season. Jacob Slavin just turned 32 last month. Shane Gostisbehere in a couple of months will turn 33. So that's 4 of your top 6 defensemen. That's not on top of, again, potentially adding John Carlson, who's 36. So those are 12 guys that I just mentioned that are all age 30 or older for the Carolina Hurricanes. So basically half your roster. Now, only 5 of those guys, though, Max, only 5 of those guys, 5 of those 12, are age 33 or older. So this roster isn't old per se, but in the next couple of years, if you don't have an infusion of youth on your roster, the way the cycle of sports and how things operate, teams can get old real quick. And Carolina Hurricanes could be in that similar situation. Now, again, some of these guys that I mentioned to you, you have them in their prime years. Like again, I mentioned Eric Robinson, who just turned 31 years old. He has 3 more years left on his deal. So you're talking age 31, age 32, age 33 seasons before things really start to dip off traditionally for players. Again, traditionally for players. Sean Walker, 3 years left on his deal, age 32, 33, and 34 seasons. Mark Jankowski, 2-year extension, age 32 and age 33 seasons. So that's what we're talking about with the players that are currently under contract right now with the Carolina Hurricanes. So those are a few of the examples there. William Carrier has 4 years left on his deal, and he's about to turn 32 years old. So he turns 32 in December. So basically age 32, 33, 34, and then 35. He'll turn 30. That last season, he'll turn 35. So in year 4. So again, you're getting to these guys on the back end of the career, but again, this is not like a, hey, here's a bunch of 37, 38, 39-year-old, like truly aging roster. But a team that's in its prime right now can get old real quick. Now, there are 4 guys that are eligible for contract extensions, not named Alexander Nikishin. Talking guys that are under contract that are eligible for a contract extension starting at noon tomorrow. First name on that list I'm going to mention, Shane Gostisbehere. As I mentioned, he's 33 years old. He's in the last year of his contract, making $3.2 million per year. Now, last season, set 13 goals, 37 assists, 50 points, but only played in 55 games. Now, he skated about 16 and a half minutes per game, third pair defenseman, obviously playing a lot on the power play as well. He played in all 19 postseason games, 3 goals, 9 assists. But again, you look at his age, you look at the recent injury history as well, and you want an inflection of youth onto your roster. I don't see an extension coming for Shane Gostisbehere. I don't see it. Next one on this list, Jalen Chatfield. Just turned 30 years old literally last month. Making $3 million a year. Playing mostly on the top pair with Jacob Slavin for this season. Now, again, there's a bunch of injuries during the year with Jacob Slavin, so it's kind of a mix and match. But during the playoffs, was paired up with Jacob Slavin. And I think he was actually much better in the playoffs than he was during the regular season. Now, does he flash big offensive numbers? No. But that's okay. I think Chatfield could get an extension, and a number I feel is fair for both sides. 3 or 4 years at $5 million per year for Jacob Slavin. I'm sorry, for Jalen Chatfield. Right-handed defensemen who play in your top four don't grow on trees. They just don't. Right-handed defensemen, pretty good size, who skate on your top two pairs, those are massively coveted across any team in the NHL. We just saw former Carolina Hurricane Tony DeAngelo just get a 2-year extension at $4.5 million a year with the Islanders. Now, a 4-year deal, again, he's in the final year of his contract, just turned 30 years old. So a 4-year extension for Chatfield. You have him during his age 31, 32, 33, and 34 seasons, which is very similar to what I just mentioned earlier with the likes of Sean Walker, Eric Robinson, Mark Jankowski. That lines up, again, how Carolina currently has a lot of their contracts structured. Speaking of Jalen Chatfield, Elliot Friedman on the 32 Thoughts podcast. This actually just came out a couple days ago. He mentioned Jalen Chatfield, talking about a player that is due for a well-deserved raise coming up.
What's interesting there is that, one of the guys I've really enjoyed getting to know a little bit, like as a reporter, not like a personal friend or anything, but as a reporter and a guy to talk to, is Jalen Chatfield. And we talked about this a little bit the other day, Kyle, but he's a UFA after next year, and he's going to get a raise. He's going to get a very nice raise, and he's a guy that would deserve a raise.
I think so as well. Making $3 million a year right now, I think he's someone that is eligible. I think is someone that the Carolina Hurricanes should 100% consider extending. He's also great in the locker room as well. I mean, all those guys are great in the locker room, but people have talked about his work ethic. And by the way, he's won at every single level he's played. He won a Memorial Cup as the captain of the Windsor Spitfires in juniors, won a Memorial Cup, was part of the Chicago Wolves in the Canes organization, won a Calder Cup as well. Now is also on a Stanley Cup winning team. And he's had a major role in every single one of those. All right, as we continue, players that are eligible for extensions here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox in for Tim Donnelly. Max Gorn producing the show. 2 more names, a couple pair of forwards here, Max. First one, Jordan Martinook. Eligible for a contract extension starting at noon tomorrow. Makes just over $3 million a year. Played in 77 games again this season. And honestly, over the last 4 years, has been relatively healthy. Not putting up crazy numbers offensively just this season, 12 goals, 17 assists. But he's important on the penalty kill. But his value really is what isn't measured. On a night-by-night basis, he drags his team into the fight. He's the heart and soul of the team. And his presence in the locker room is truly invaluable. I think he's primed to be extended by 1 year. He's about to turn 34 years old on July 25th. And Martinook, the team had to ask themselves, all right, how much longer do you want to keep playing? Because, again, he's 34. I think he's primed for a 1-year extension, somewhere around $2 to $2.5 million. I think is a good thing. I think, again, just 1 year. 1 year. And then there's the captain, Jordan Staal, making just under $3 million a year. Again, he's the captain. And the question that Eric Tulsky needs to ask Jordan Staal, and the question that Jordan Staal needs to ask himself, how much longer do you want to keep playing? And again, Staal has to ask himself how much longer he wants to play. He still has his health and just arguably had the best season of his career when you factor in both regular season and postseason together. If he still wants to be a Cane, which I don't see him playing for any other franchise, but the question is, if he still wants to keep playing, you keep him on the team because he's your captain, he's your team leader, and he's trusted by Rob Brindamore. Now, his role can reduce, but he can still, in terms of what's on the ice, but you can still ask him to be the leader of the group. But there has to be a real and honest conversation between Rod, Stahl, and Tulsky about what Jordan Stahl wants to do with his future. Maybe this upcoming season is it. He's about to, again, age 38 season coming up. Maybe this is it. Maybe it's like, you know what? One more victory lap to celebrate this Stanley Cup. Let's see if we can run it back. Otherwise, I go home and sit in my pool. Maybe he wants to play one more year after this. Like on top of the final year he has left on his deal. If that's the case, you keep him around. You just don't kick him to the curb. You keep Jordan Stahl around. The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox sitting in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. Max Gorin producing the show. We will keep you up to date in terms of any players that get signed by the Carolina Hurricanes, possibly John Carlson. There might be some young talent that might be coming up for the Carolina Hurricanes in the near future as well. We know the crop of young talent that's coming in for the Carolina Panthers. One of their young stars just got recognized by his peers as being one of the best players in the NFL. Who could join him next on that list? Football 4 coming up.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Will?
When I was 50, my whole life fell apart. I lost my job, I lost my wife, I lost the house, I lost pretty much everything except for my life. When the IRS came calling, I just didn't have it in me. I felt like Wile E. Coyote, just waiting for that IRS anvil to drop.
Then Will found tax relief advocates.
I heard their advertisement on the radio, I wrote down the number, and I made the call that changed everything. The IRS gave me a bill for $40,000. Tax relief advocates got that down to $3,200. I've paid 9 cents on the dollar. Now that's a great deal in anybody's book.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Will did and call TRA for a consultation.
But for me, the real win is I got my life back.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-488-2578. 800-488-2578. That's 800-488-2578.
T-Mobile has an exclusive bundle for customers 55 and up.
I'm Sarah Bowl.
Yeah, I'm Frank Bowl.
A reliable network is key for us. And with T-Mobile, it's been wonderful. And going to the 55 plus plan saved us so much money.
A lot.
And that's important. Trying to keep costs down. The home internet's been perfect. It's fast, it's quick. The setup was so easy, it took less than 15 minutes.
It was like, ta-da! If you want simplicity, coverage, reliability, you want the whole package, T-Mobile has it. Right now, T-Mobile customers 55 and up can get 2 phone lines on America's best network, plus America's fastest 5G home internet for just $30 each.
$30 per month each line with autopay plus taxes and fees. Minimum age 55. Pricing for home internet rely on 2 lines of Essentials Choice 55. $35 connection charge per line required. Best mobile network and fastest 5G home internet based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 2H 2025. All rights reserved.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
Broadcasting live from the Eagle Leasing Storage Studio. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Canes light the lamp here.
It's the middle of the day on your Tuesday. Temperatures in the 80s, highs low 90s this afternoon with dropping humidity levels. As we head into the overnight, lows near 70, highs upper 90s Wednesday. Potential for triple-digit temps from Thursday through the weekend. I'm meteorologist Chris Michaels in the WRAL Severe Weather Center.
4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 135 points today to 52,317. This hour of The Drive is brought to you by Law Tigers. Injured in a motorcycle accident? Call Law Tigers before you call your insurance company. Case evaluations are always free and you don't pay a dime until your case settles. Law Tigers, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. By the way, if you miss any of the show, make sure you subscribe to the Best of the Drive podcast, available wherever you get your podcasts. Apple, Spotify, you name it, it's available right there. You can also check out the show in its entirety, both live as well as a replay of it, on YouTube. Go to YouTube. You can search The Drive with Tim Donnelly or just search 99.9 The Fan. Subscribe while you're there. Max, we're getting close to that 25K subs, right?
Yeah, we need about 1,400 more to hit that 25K mark.
Well, let's go, people. And maybe we'll give some stuff away. We hit that 25,000 subscriber mark, we'll give stuff away. So you can follow us on YouTube, subscribe there. It's free. Also, something that's free for you, it's the 99.9 The Fan app. It's available. Your App Store, Google Play, free. You can listen to the show anywhere you go, right there through the app. Also, you have links to videos and other special contests and stuff right there on our 99.9 The Fan app. As we continue on The Drive with Tim Donnelly, Dennis Cox in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. Max Gorin producing the show. As we get here to the football at 4, presented by John Heister, Chrysler Dodge Jeep. Get off your keister and go to Heister. Max, real quick, we talked yesterday about how Derek Brown, of the defensive tackle for the Carolina Panthers, was rated by his peers in the NFL Top 100. The NFL players, they vote on who they think the best players in the NFL are, and the votes are tallied, and they come out with a list based off the voting about who the best players in the NFL are. They go 1 through 100. Again, this is all voted on by the players. Bryce Young came in at number 98. Derek Brown, the defensive tackle, was announced yesterday, came in at number 90. And it was announced earlier today that Teteroa McMillan, just after his rookie season in the NFL, Max, rated number 87. 87 on the list. Played all 17 games last season, 70 catches, 1,014 yards, had 7 touchdowns as well. An overall pretty solid season. It was also the runaway NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year in the NFL. So, I actually, going into yesterday, Max, you and I had talked about different players that we would also expect to see after Derek Brown and Bryce Young on the NFL Top 100. I mentioned Teteroa McMillan. I mentioned J.C. Horn. I failed to mention Devin Lloyd or Jalen Phillips free agent signings from last season. I was more or less thinking of Carolina Panthers that we saw had been on the team since last year. I kind of neglected. I had neglected to mention Devin Lloyd and Jalen Phillips because, again, I was focusing on players that played for the Panthers last season. But to see the NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year come in at number 87, I think is a bright thing for Carolina. I think that's people recognizing, again, what Carolina is capable of doing as a team. Now, the question going forward, Max, of the players that are incoming as rookies for this Carolina Panthers team, who do we think could possibly crack that top 100 next year? You look at the draft picks for the Carolina Panthers, you have a player, Monroe Freeling, the 19th overall pick, offensive tackle, whom, by the way, we're not sure is going to start year one because the Panthers signed Rasheed Walker from the Green Bay Packers as a free agent, 1-year contract, $4 million deal. Walker might start at left tackle, so Monroe Freeling might have to beat him out. Could be the swing tackle, could back up in case of Taylor Moton at right tackle gets injured. So I don't think he's going to see the field quite enough from the get-go. Then it gets into second-round pick Lee Hunter out of Texas Tech, the defensive lineman. By the way, the reason why we're mentioning these rookies is that 3 weeks from today, the rookies for the Carolina Panthers report to training camp. In just 3 weeks, people, just 3 weeks, the Panthers rookies report. You have Lee Hunter, the defensive tackle, who I don't see, Max, I don't project him to be in a top 100 player, at least not after his rookie season in the NFL, for the simple fact that I don't think he's going to be out there a lot on pass rushing downs. He's going to be a tremendous run stopper, but I don't see him out there in terms of pass situations where he's going to generate sacks as an interior defensive lineman. He might be a massive disruptor. I mean, who knows? How awesome would it be, Max, if he becomes the next like Dexter Lawrence or becomes a Derek Brown level player?
Yeah, that'd be pretty awesome.
Be pretty amazing. Now, again, for a second-round pick, I don't project that. Dexter Lawrence, by the way, from right here in the Triangle, went to Wake Forest High School. And then you get to third-round pick Chris Brazzell out of Tennessee, the wide receiver. I just don't think he's going to get enough targets, Max, his rookie season that would eventually put him on the NFL top 100. Now, there is a possibility, injuries do happen, knock on wood, that Brazzell does eventually step into a starting role, but we don't even know if he's going to be the number 3 wide receiver this upcoming year. So I don't think, as much as I like the draft class, Max, for the Carolina Panthers this past season, I don't foresee someone putting up an NFL top 100 voting season like we just saw from Teteroa McMillan. Because again, Teteroa McMillan, 1,014 yards on 70 catches, played all 17 games, had 7 receiving touchdowns, and was the NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year, and he only comes in at number 87 on the list. So I don't foresee that there's a rookie that's coming in for the Carolina Panthers that I see cracking the NFL top 100 going into the 2027 season. I just don't foresee that. Now, the question is, Max, Teteroa McMillan comes in at 87. What's the ceiling for a player like him? Like in terms of the NFL top 100, if he continues to ascend, which, by the way, he said this offseason during OTAs and minicamp that he actually put on about 17 pounds from what he weighed in at the end of last season. He actually said last season that he actually struggled to keep weight on. He actually wanted to play heavier than what he did much of last season, which I think, a couple of things. Being stronger will allow him to fight through contact better, and also just with physical, just with the physicality of the game and just fighting for contested catches. So I think that's going to benefit him a lot as well, and I think it's just going to allow him to keep his strength as the season progresses. So he added 17 pounds to what he was weighing at the end of last season. I think he said last year, Max, that he was playing at around like 204, 205 at his height at 6'4". So he's up closer to around the 220 mark, which, by the way, 6'4", 220, not a tiny guy. It's not a small guy at all. Now, just naturally, you put weight on. Once you get into training camp, you are going to naturally just lose a few pounds. It's a natural thing. I used to, Max, when I was playing lacrosse in college, I would come in at the start of the training camp, or I guess training camp of practice for the season. In lacrosse, I used to come in at about 6 or 7 pounds heavier than what I was actually going to play at during the season. That was intentional. So I know, for example, my senior season, I played at 210. I started January for lacrosse season at like 217, knowing I was going to lose that weight to get down to 210. So Teteroa McMillan might be playing this upcoming season more at not 220, but maybe more at 215, which is fine. It's stronger than what he played at last year. Max, I think if Teteroa McMillan has another strong season, which I think, Max, what's a fair stat number you would say for Teteroa McMillan this upcoming season? I think it's fair to say 80 catches, 1,200 yards, 8 touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that's fair.
When you're talking about a 1,000-yard receiver on a team that is really not known for its passing game or offensive strength like that, to be the offensive rookie of the year, 1,000-yard receiver, 7 touchdowns. I mean, I think it's fair to project a little bit of growth from there. So,
sure.
Yeah, like 75 catches, 1,200-ish yards, and maybe he finds the end zone another time or two. I don't think double-digit touchdowns would be out of the question either. So, yeah, I think like 1,200 yards, 10 touchdowns or so, and maybe even increased volume in terms of those receptions as well, from 70 to like 75 or 80. And then you asked, like, kind of what's the ceiling for him, right? In terms of the NFL top 100 for next year, could see him definitely climbing up into the middle of that range in the 40s, 50s, something like that. And then, again, we're talking about a guy that 1,000-yard receiver on a not offensively gifted, per se, team, and being the offensive rookie of the year. Like, I don't think it's unfair to say that he has all-pro potential in his career.
He does.
It's just a lot to build off of. He's got the body that you want in a receiver, the size, the 50-50 catchability. The sky is kind of the limit for him. It was definitely a nice hit in the first round of the draft last year for the Panthers to pick this guy up and be kind of their focal point in terms of offensive playmakers now.
I think it's fair to anticipate growth again. 80 catches, 1,200 yards, 8 touchdowns. I think that's a good spot for him to be. Now, that's a pretty big jump in production. Now he's also got to rely on a new offensive coordinator in Brad Idzik, and also a quarterback that has major question marks in Bryce Young. He has to rely upon that as well. So I mean, it's all fair to question that too. But again, I think the future is bright for Tedderell McMillan. Again, I don't foresee any rookie that's part of the Panthers this year being part of the NFL top 100 going into 2027. But you never know. Lee Hunter might surprise us, Max. Lee Hunter might surprise us. It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. That's Football at 4, presented by John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep here on 99.9 The Fan. Get off your keister and come to Heister. It's Tuesday. You know what that means. Copper drop. Will Jesperi Kotkaniemi be a Carolina Hurricane next season? We copper drop and more next.
Hey, Tim Donnelly here for Kalshi, reminding you that the world's biggest soccer tournament has arrived. And while the group stages are in the rearview mirror, it's not too late to get on Kalshi and begin trading. You can trade on every match, beginning with those opening stages, but all the way through to the final. You can look at something like the United States to win it all. Or something like France or Spain or Argentina. Whoever you think is the team to beat, you can go in and trade on them to win the whole darn thing. And remember, on Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house. And as those probabilities change, you can buy in and out of your position. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code TIMD, that's TIMD, to get $10 when you trade 10. Kalshi. Kalshi, trade on anything. 18 plus only. Restriction and eligibility requirements apply. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. For more information, see Kalshi.com/regulatory. Gambling problem, call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
All the corner kicks, all the heart-stopping action, and all the soccer. Listen to 99.9 The Fan and Buzz Sports through July 19th as we bring you full coverage of soccer's biggest event. We'll have match updates, results, and news right through the championship and the awarding of the Golden Trophy. Our coverage of soccer's biggest event is presented by North Carolina Courage and Wake Orthopedics, your winning team for orthopedic care.
Hey, man, been to Sharky's lately?
Yeah, man, I was there last night with you.
Oh, yeah. The wings and the burgers are killer. They have so many beers it's hard to choose, you know?
I know. You know, they got trivia on Tuesdays and luck of the draw darts on Sunday, man. I love them both.
Yeah, I love that place, man.
You know what, man? I think Sharky's may be the best bar in the world.
Yeah, I think you're right, man. Let's go grab a beer.
Sharky's at the corner of Delta Lake Drive and Durley Road. Open 7 days a week.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-970-8855. That's 800-970-8855.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And right now, new mattresses start at $1,500 during our 4th of July sale. Plus, get a free base with select mattress purchases. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
Max, your girl Serena Williams, which I know you're very excited that she's back playing at Wimbledon. She's currently locked in a second set tiebreaker.
Yep, just needs to win this point to force a third set. Oh, and it's long. There she goes.
There you go. Force a third. She lost the first set 6-3. Now she wins the second set 7-6 after winning the tiebreaker.
Wow.
So good for her. Serena Williams, 44 years old. What's your excuse? What's your excuse, people?
Nobody has one.
Exactly. LeBron's still playing at age 41.
She's playing against a 20-year-old player, too, who, to be fair, like in terms of people that are like 24 years younger than her, I think Maya Join has only won one of her last like 14 matches. So in terms of a draw, could have been a lot worse. So she's got a chance here. They go to the third set now to try to see if Serena Williams can win her first singles match in nearly 4 years.
It's pretty awesome for Serena. It's pretty awesome. So Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. Max Gorin producing the show. We will have some conversations and continue to have the conversations about the future of Alexander Nikishin in a Carolina Hurricanes uniform. Was him hoisting the cup the last time we'll see him in a Canes uniform? It's possible. It's possible. What's also the future of Jesperi Kotkaniemi? Is John Carlson going to be a Carolina Hurricane? All these questions and more as we cop or drop.
You want true enlightenment? Well, I'm dropping.
All right, Max, fire away.
All right, well, obviously, a lot of the conversation today, we are talking about John Carlson, who the Carolina Hurricanes acquired the rights to in a trade with the Anaheim Ducks, which, by the way, there was a follow-up trade later today. I don't know if we mentioned that, but
we'll get into that a little later on.
Kyle Masters, the prospect that they sent along with the draft pick for the rights to John Carlson, Anaheim just traded him back to the Hurricanes in exchange for the rights to Noah Philp, who, if you'll remember, the Hurricanes picked up off waivers earlier this season.
By the way, Noah Philp is set to play in Sweden this upcoming year.
Yes, so I don't know if either one of those players will be seeing NHL ice this season. Regardless, we've played the cut from Chris Johnson of TSN a couple of times today already. Things progressing in terms of a contract extension, perhaps, with the Carolina Hurricanes and John Carlson. So I'll just ask you, Dennis, cop or drop, John Carlson will be a Carolina Hurricane on opening night in 2026.
I'm going to cop it. Just because if the Carolina Hurricanes weren't going to get a deal done, if they're this far apart, or if they're extremely far apart on a deal, the Canes would have flipped his rights to someone else. They would have. They would have talked to his agent and be like, okay, where else is he interested in going? Well, who else is high on his list? All right, it's Tampa. All right, well, if we're going to lose him to Tampa, all right, hey, Tampa, you want to talk to John Carlson before everyone else? Send us a 6th-round pick. We just sent a 6th-round pick to get John Carlson's rights. Send us a 6th-round pick. They would have done that. Which, by the way, could still happen. Unrestricted free agency doesn't open up, or at least the signing period doesn't start until noon tomorrow, Eastern. So theoretically, it could still happen. But I think if they were that far apart, Max, that the Canes would have already flipped his rights to someone else. Yeah. So I'm going to cop and say that he does.
Yeah, I think they at least think at this point, the fact that he hasn't been rerouted tells me they at least think they can get it done for a contract.
You mentioned Chris Johnston of The Athletic and TSN. Let's play that soundbite again for the people that may have missed it earlier. So this is Chris Johnston, who covers the NHL for The Athletic, also for TSN up in Canada. He's one of their big insiders. Talked about the latest regarding John Carlson and the Carolina Hurricanes earlier today.
You know, for John Carlson, it's been a busy couple days. His rights were acquired by the Carolina Hurricanes at the draft. Negotiations on a contract have been happening here over the last 48 hours since that happened. And my sense, at least of Tuesday morning, was that was headed in the right direction, that John Carlson liked the prospect of playing in Carolina. He wants a chance to win again before the end of his career. And obviously joining the former Stanley Cup champions and the Hurricanes would give him that opportunity. Of course, so the deal isn't fully done until it's done. But I would say the teams that were out there hoping to be bidding on Carlson on July 1st are going to have to look in another direction.
So when you hear that, that tells me that He's being fed information saying this is going to happen. So, yeah. Copper drop of John Carlson is going to be a Carolina Hurricane opening night roster. I'm copping. The question is, though, what number is he going to wear, Max?
Yeah, it won't be 74.
Won't be 74. It's Jacob Slavin's number. We'll find out and wait. Can't be 77. Mark Jankowski.
That's what I was. Oh, that's true. I wasn't even thinking about that.
Unless he buys that off of
and
him.
It can't be 71. It's Taylor Hall.
Taylor Hall has that.
Paul Ihander, host of Next Up, and our fearless leader here at 99.9 The Fan, suggested 47. I was like, that's kind of a training camp number. That one's 47's a little icky. I don't know if I like that one.
Yeah, I don't know if you go for that.
For a top 4 defenseman, but I digress. In a similar conversation to John Carlson potentially being on the roster for the Carolina Hurricanes, his inclusion on the roster could potentially spell the exclusion of Alexander Nikishin, who has been rumored to be in trade talks. There was some reporting earlier this week up to as many as 6 teams maybe in the mix trying to trade for him. There's been some more recent reporting that the New York Rangers are particularly interested in Nikishin, and that would be a destination that he would be interested in playing in as well. So I'll ask you very similarly, Dennis, cop or drop, Alexander Nikishin will be a Carolina Hurricane on opening night in 2026.
Dropping it. I'm dropping it. If you're putting big money into John Carlson being here, you don't have the money to keep Alexander Nikishin around. Now, unless you just sit there and say, hey, look, we're just going to have a bridge year, 2 years with him, and then you try and move Shane Goss to spare, then maybe I could see it. But I think there's just too much value in him. If you're not going to keep him on your roster because you don't feel like that he can play on his offside alongside and like on a top pair role eventually down the line or a top 4 role, then you sell high. And so I'm going to drop that he's going to be on the opening night roster. You mentioned Nikishin. Let's actually get into the updates here. This is from Elliot Friedman of Sportsnet. He was on Sportsnet 590, sports radio station up there in Toronto, earlier today, providing the latest updates on both Alexander Nikishin and John Carlson for Carolina.
I'll tell you this. I think it's heating up around Nikishin. I think I mentioned to you, I don't know if I said it to you or I said it on the pod, I heard the Rangers offered picks, including a first, and Carolina was like, we want a player. I think the Rangers are trying again. We'll see. Like, they really want him, and I think he would be happy going there. I don't know yet how to handicap the Carlson. I know they were talking. I know they were making a run at it, but I don't know how to handicap it.
Does that... I guess signing Carlson.
And I'm wondering about Carolina doing another one of those offer sheet threat things. I don't think it's impossible.
All right, so a lot of information and stuff there from Friedman. So, by reports, Max, like you just heard from Elliot Friedman, like you just said, that the New York Rangers are circling around on Nikishin. They offered a bunch of picks for him. Carolina's like, no, we want a player back. Which, by the way, if I am trading Alexander Nikishin, I will want a player back too, unless I know I'm getting the assets, if it's a bunch of picks and futures, unless I know there's a third team that's ready to accept those future picks for a player that's on their roster. So basically making like a 3-way trade. Otherwise, I'm not just going to give Alexander Nikishin up for spare parts. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that at all.
Yeah.
But in terms of copper drop, is he on the roster to start the season? There's just too much smoke. Dropping it.
Yeah, it's a shame it's trended this way too, because I feel like a lot of Canes fans would feel the same way, that we were so excited for him to be over and we're so happy to finally have him on the roster. He brings that excitement factor to the game,
yeah.
But the way that this contract negotiation and trade talks are shaken out, it is feeling less and less likely day by day that he will be on the team for next season. So,
but hey, you know what? We can remember him when we look at the Stanley Cup.
Stanley Cup champion. His name will be on that cup.
Yep.
And one more in this very similar vein.
Okay.
We learned over the weekend during the draft that Seth Jarvis and Eric Robinson will both be missing some time as they recover from surgeries that they had this offseason. Seth Jarvis, a little bit of a longer timeline, 4 to 6 month recovery for some shoulder surgery. Eric Robinson had something repaired in his knee. I believe that's 6 to 8 weeks on his timeline, which means there will be roster spots opening up for the Carolina Hurricanes. And I know you asked Eric Tulsky about this in terms of Bradley Nadeau potentially filling into that spot. So one more for you on the Canes. Cop or drop, Bradley Nadeau in the lineup for the Carolina Hurricanes on opening night.
Copping. Absolute cop. I don't think there's any reason to rush Seth Jarvis back from his shoulder surgery. He might feel like he's pretty strong, good to go, middle part of October. It might be a fast recovery. Again, it's 4 to 6 months from his surgery, which has already taken place. So basically you're looking at July, August, September, and October. If it's, again, on the shorter side of things, mid-October, the season's already started at that point. But again, I say don't rush it. You want to make sure that he's fully strong, he's fully healthy. Come back after the new year. Like, come back January 1. Like, right after Christmas. Come back then, strong, ready to go. You have the big infusion of energy into the team. When you're hitting kind of the dog days of the season, you're 3 months in, you're like, oh, God, what city are we in right now? Got to go play another game. You bring that infusion of energy. That way he's strong going up to the All-Star break. He has a little bit of break right there after about 6 weeks of playing. Then he's fresh and strong and ready to go for the stretch run of the playoffs going into 2027 playoff season. That's what I would say do. So in that time frame, though, you do need someone that could play in a top 6 role, right-handed. Oh, whom, by the way, happens to be what Bradley Nadeau is supposed to be. He is a top 6 forward, or projected to be a top 6 forward. That's what his physical profile is. But also, he's a player that has added penalty killing to his game, which is something that Seth Jarvis does. And I think adding penalty killing into his game, to me, it's just you slide Bradley Nadeau into that spot and you see what he can do. Sink or swim. Can you play at this level or not? Sink or swim time for Bradley Nadeau. So yes, cop that he's going to be on the opening night roster. Absolutely.
Yeah, it feels like it's trending that way as well. They'll shift gears now over to the National Basketball Association. Some big breaking news came through earlier today. LeBron James tells the Lakers he does not want to return to Los Angeles, but he does want to continue his career for a 24th season. It's just going to be at another destination. Now, the heavily rumored spot that he could land, that team that is trying to pursue him, is the Golden State Warriors. And there's actually been some rumors as well that perhaps he wants them to make a move to try to acquire Anthony Davis as well, and create kind of a veteran big four with Steph Curry, LeBron, Draymond Green, and Anthony Davis. So with NBA free agency opening up later today, about an hour and a half away from now, cop or drop that LeBron James will be a Golden State Warrior by the end of today.
I'll cop it. Even though I know you said end of today, it might be the more. I'm going to cop it anyway. It feels like this is destined to happen. It's what the player wants. And if you're a player that's in the position and with the power that LeBron James wields, you usually get what you want. Usually. Might not get Anthony Davis as part of the mix, but okay, fine. By the way, this is Golden State with Steph, Draymond, LeBron. If they add Anthony Davis into the mix, this is like, man, I feel like I'm playing men's league hockey again, Max. Like people in their mid-30s, early 40s. Hey, you know what? Enjoy those 10 o'clock tip-offs, because that's what you're going to get. It's just cop. It just feels like those guys are buddies. Like Steph and LeBron are buddies. Like they played on Team USA together. They know each other well. Hey, man, let's go see if we can win this thing together. We won a gold medal together. Let's go see if we can win an NBA title together.
Follow up.
Yeah.
Are you copping or dropping that a Steph-LeBron pairing can make it to the NBA Finals?
Oh, drop. I don't think with the youth of talent of the San Antonio Spurs, I don't think that they can get past them fully. I think also there's still the Denver Nuggets out there with Jokic, with Nikola Jokic. And who knows what the Lakers are going to do now? I mean, if they have the cap space and stuff free, who knows what the Lakers go do with Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves and that crew? Who knows? So I'm going to drop. Not that they're not talented. I just don't know how well physically they're going to hold up at this point.
I'm Calvin. I think if they can get one more healthy season, it can be like a last dance type of deal, and it's just a legacy run. Maybe that's just the idealist in me hoping for a entertaining storyline.
Do not get me wrong. I think it would be fun, but like you said, there's a key word you mentioned in there, Max. Healthy. Max, I'm 40 years old. Health don't come easy now. Now, I understand that LeBron James is a specimen, but everyone's dealt with injuries. Even LeBron, as physically gifted he's been, has dealt with soft tissue injuries over the last few years. Steph Curry has dealt with an ankle injury constantly throughout his career. Anthony Davis is a walking injury. Like, he's just, I'm afraid anytime Anthony Davis gets out of bed, he's going to roll his ankle or hurt his pinky or something along those lines. It's just what he does. So the key word you said there was healthy. Health hasn't been on their side as a whole. And you just don't generally get healthier as you get older. That's just how I see it.
All right, and then one more here, and I'll tee you up for a conversation about Jesperi Kotkaniemi that you teased as we began the segment.
Go on.
The NHL buyout window closes in about 28 minutes
at
5 p.m. today. Copper dropped that the Carolina Hurricanes are going to buy out Jesperi Kotkaniemi in the next 28 minutes.
This is pretty fascinating. And so at this thing, it's the next, like you said, the next 28 minutes, 27 minutes now, is the window that they can buy out Jesperi Kotkaniemi. Copper drop that they buy him out. I'm going to drop it. I'm going to drop that they buy him out. I still think that they're going to explore trading him. I think that's the preferred thing, is to explore trading him. I think there might be a situation where they're going to have to retain some of his salary. That's a possibility over the next 4 years. If the Carolina Hurricanes wanted to buy out Jesperi Kotkaniemi's contract, the way the structure works with buyouts in the NHL is you take the number of years left on the contract, which in this case, Jesperi Kotkaniemi has 4 years left on his deal. You take that number and you double it. And then there's also a math equation in terms of base salary during that time divided by numbers, all that kind of stuff. But Jesperi Kotkaniemi, if the Carolina Hurricanes were to buy out his contract here in the next 26 minutes, they would have to pay on that, or he would count against their salary cap for the next 8 seasons, including this upcoming season. So the next 8 years, he's going to count against the salary cap. Now, granted, that salary cap hit is basically $850,000 for this upcoming season. Then it's just under $500K for the next 3 years. Then it's back to $850,000 for the final 4 years of the buyout. So it's not a massive number at all. It's certainly doable, especially the way the cap is jumping up and all those kinds of things, because you got to think about the money that you're saving. But ideally is you would want to trade him. Now, Carolina also has to weigh and consider, if you do move him, knowing that you have an injury with Eric Robinson with his surgery, knowing that you have Seth Jarvis with his injury with the shoulder, you want to make sure that you don't completely sacrifice your team's depth just for the sake of moving on from somebody. Now, a trade doesn't have to happen right now. It doesn't have to happen tomorrow. It doesn't have to happen before the season. It doesn't have to happen in October, November, or December. You have all the way till the trade deadline to move on from Jesperi Kotkaniemi. Now, if all things are right, and by all things being right, everyone being healthy, Jesperi Kotkaniemi is not going to be in your everyday lineup if you're the Carolina Hurricanes. He's just not. We saw that in the playoffs. He's the only player on the entire roster that did not dress for a postseason game. The only player on the roster that didn't dress for a postseason game. Now, granted, you only had one forward miss one game. That was Nikolai Ehlers' Game 4 against the Ottawa Senators. And Nick Delorier came in and played that game. Played 3 minutes and 9 seconds. That's the only injury, the only game that you had missed among your forwards. On defense, you only had 2 games missed. That was from Alexander Nikishin, games 1 and 2 against the Philadelphia Flyers. So he didn't dress in the postseason. That's $4.82 million sitting in the press box. He's still only 25 years old. And if you look at the market of what centers costs in the NHL, we just saw former Carolina Hurricane Jack Drury, who just got traded from the Colorado Avalanche to the Nashville Predators. Remember, Jack Drury was part of the trade along with Martin Necas that went from Carolina to Colorado to get Mikko Rantanen. Well, he just got traded from Colorado to Nashville. He just signed a 5-year deal with the Nashville Predators at $4.5 million a year. Jack Drury did. And Jack Drury is I'm a big Jack Drury fan. I am. I'm on the record saying that. He's a really good fourth-line center. Maybe he can creep up and be your third center, maybe. But really, he's ideally a really, really good fourth-line center that takes defensive zone draws, is good defensively, and kills penalties. That's what he does. Now, the thing about Kotkaniemi is that, okay, you look at that price point, you say, okay, it's a pretty similar number, but Kotkaniemi he's not bad defensively, he's not great defensively. He doesn't kill penalties, though I think he is capable of doing it, but we just haven't really seen him stick and do it. I think ideally you want to trade him. But the question is what people are willing to give up. What's that, Max?
No, I would say, yeah, you definitely want to. I mean, ideally, I don't think they want him on the roster at the start of the season. Sure, center depth is good, and you can compare it to a contract like Jack Drury, but to me, they're both overpaid. Like, Mark Jankowski's the fourth-line center for the Hurricanes. He's making $1.85 million.
Yeah,
that's a deal, and Carolina gets good value in every contract they get, but I don't think either of these players should be making $4+ million based on their performance. Now, if Jesperi Kotkaniemi had been able to maintain his performance from the second half of the season, particularly in 2023, like the year they had the Stadium Series, in the second half of that season, he was actually, I thought, quite good. Scored 40 points that year.
He had 18 goals
two-way
that
player,
season.
Fairly dynamic. He just hasn't been able to recapture that form, and I know the deployment hasn't been consistent. But even with inconsistent deployment, if you have 2 goals in 40 games in the regular season, that's just not going to cut it in the National Hockey League, especially for a team that's trying to win multiple Stanley Cups now, trying to go back-to-back starting next season. So, look, I was interested to see the reporting that they were apparently offered a second or a third-round pick at the deadline for him and said no.
That makes sense to me, though.
I don't know what more they're looking for, though, because that offloads your cap. I mean, maybe there was in the deal, it wasn't reported that they were going to have to take a bad contract back. Because the way I see it, if you're getting a early round pick and you're shedding that salary, I don't see why you wouldn't do that.
I could see why you didn't do it during the trade deadline this past season, because you wanted to make sure that you had the depth necessary on your team and to withstand a couple of injuries. You wanted to make sure that you had that. Now, everything worked out well in terms of injuries as a whole for them in the playoffs, so I get why you didn't do that at the playoffs at the deadline. But now in the offseason, if you were offered that, I would probably take it, knowing that you have other time to make some moves.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I think with Jesperi Kotkaniemi, there is no value of $4.8 million sitting in the press box. There's no value on either side. The player gets paid, sure, but he wants to play. And also for the team, there's no value in a player sitting in the press box making $4.82 million as a healthy extra. That doesn't do anybody any good. Now, here's the thing I will say about Kotkaniemi, though. Being in that locker room, being around those guys throughout the season, throughout the postseason, he is a tremendous teammate. You talk about a player like Logan Stankoven that took over the number 2 center role that the Carolina Hurricanes replaced Kotkaniemi with. Kotkaniemi, still good friends with him. Those guys still hang out together. Those guys are good to each other in the locker room as well. Like, that's the thing, is that Kotkaniemi didn't take it personally against someone that took his job. Or even against Mark Jankowski, who, all right, didn't work for Kotkaniemi as a number 4 center. Mark Jankowski took that role. And guess what? Kotkaniemi, never heard him once complain, never heard him once in the locker room throw a hissy fit, give any side eye, any of those kinds of things. He was tremendous in that locker room, and that is something I will forever respect about Jesperi Kotkaniemi, that he was still a great teammate, and the team mattered to him first, even while he was sitting in the press box. That is something I will always say about Kotkaniemi. Tremendous in the locker room, tremendous person. I honestly have zero bad to say about him as a person. Nothing. I've had a lot of fun interactions with Jesperi Kotkaniemi in the locker room. It just hasn't worked out for him as a player. And you know what? That happens, and that's okay. And again, $4.82 million sitting in the press box, there's no value in that at all. The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. Max Gorin producing the show. Before we move on, get to a feedback frenzy. Dennis Cox here real quick for my good friends over at Law Tigers. Believe it or not, folks, in the state of North Carolina, depending on what part of the state you are, but roughly around 1 out of every 8, 1 out of every 9 drivers out there on the road are either uninsured or underinsured. So if you're in an accident with somebody that is uninsured or underinsured, well, if you're injured, you got to go to the hospital. Well, guess what? If their policy can't cover your bills, your policy, your insurance has to kick in to cover any additional costs. So as a motorcycle rider, I encourage you to make sure that your insurance is up to date and also to make sure that you're maxed out in your coverage, because if you are involved in an accident and you got to go to the hospital and that person that hit you is either uninsured or underinsured, you want to make sure that your policy kicks in to cover any of those additional costs. But if you are injured in a motorcycle accident, make sure you contact Law Tigers at 1-800-LAW-TIGERS even before you get in touch with the insurance company. Law Tigers, they're part of the motorcycle riding community. They understand what your bike is worth, they understand what your gear is worth, but most importantly, they understand the dangers of the road. That's why your case evaluation is always free, and you don't pay a dime until your case settles. So give them a call, 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm. It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. We hear back from you in a feedback frenzy. You, the listener. Feedback frenzy next.
Adam.
I'm Adam Gold, and I'm there.
Tim.
I'm Tim Donnelly, and I'm there.
Dennis.
I'm Dennis Cox, and I'm there.
Victoria.
I'm Victoria Bodenecker, and I'm there.
Paul.
I'm Paul Eihander, and I'm there too.
You'll find them all here on the brand new 99.9 The Fan app. To work, to school, the beach, the mountains, the arena, take The Fan with you wherever you go. Available for Apple iPhone and Android phones. Download the 99.9 The Fan app today.
Some of life's most meaningful moments are in summertime. Anniversary dinner, weekend getaway, sunset toast to another beautiful year together. Celebrate your story with a gift as timeless as your love from Bailey's Fine Jewelry. From classic diamond bracelets to elegant watches and stunning anniversary bands, Bailey's helps you mark every milestone beautifully. This summer, celebrate the moments that matter most. Visit Bailey's Fine Jewelry in Raleigh, Cary, Greenville, Rocky Mount, and Charlotte. Every woman wants a Bailey box.
T-Mobile has an exclusive bundle for customers 55 and up.
I'm Sarah Bowl.
Yeah, I'm Frank Bowl.
A reliable network is key for us. And with T-Mobile, it's been wonderful. And going to the 55 plus plan saved us so much money.
A lot.
And that's important. Trying to keep costs down. The home internet's been perfect. It's fast, it's quick. The setup was so easy, it took less than 15 minutes.
It was like, ta-da! If you want simplicity, coverage, reliability, you want the whole package, T-Mobile has it.
Right now, T-Mobile customers 55 and up can get 2 phone lines on America's best network, plus America's fastest 5G home internet for just $30 each.
$30 per month each line with autopay plus taxes and fees. Minimum age 55. Pricing for home internet rely on 2 lines of Essentials Choice 55. $35 connection charge per line required. Best mobile network and fastest 5G home internet based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 2H 2025. All rights reserved.
If you miss any of the show, check out the Best of the Drive podcast wherever you get your podcast. Wherever you discover your favorite podcasts, Apple, Spotify, you name it, we're right there. The best of the drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. Max Gorin producing the show. Also, if you want to get involved with the show, we have our YouTube live stream, which, by the way, shout out to everyone out there that's watching on YouTube right now. Our YouTube live stream, we start the show at 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, live stream every single day. You want to be part of the conversation? You can jump in the YouTube live chat. It's available for you. It's free. Go to YouTube, 999 The Fan. Just search it right there, or you can just search The Drive with Tim Donnelly and subscribe while you're at it. We're approaching 25,000 subscribers. We're approaching that number, Max. And the reason why I want people to continue to subscribe is because I want to possibly give something away if we hit 25,000 people. I actually like giving stuff away. I want to do that. By the way, numbers game coming up at 5:30. Pair of tickets to see Neo and Akon. That's at 5:30. But also in the YouTube comments, not only can you be part of the live chat, but Max, people can actually, on the videos that we post, can leave comments as well. And this is where we often pull comments as part of our feedback frenzy. All right, Max. What are the people saying here on the feedback frenzy?
Well, I'll start with one from our YouTube live chat, actually.
Okay.
We have quite an active chat today. It's been very active the last couple of days over a number of topics. A lot of Carolina Hurricanes things happening, of course. But I wanted to start with a comment about the Carolina Panthers and the NFL Top 100. This is from Thomas in the live chat. He said, "Sorry, but I can't get excited about the NFL Top 100 when Bryce made the list. I don't like Bryce, but if you do, fair enough. If you think he will improve or whatever, you have the right to opinion. But anyone who thinks Bryce is a top 100 player is a lunatic."
Oh, lunatic. Okay. Lunatic. Tom, you said it was Tom? Tom, I'm with you in the sense of I don't think Bryce Young is a top 100 player in the NFL. I don't. Sure, there have been the comebacks. Can't ignore the comebacks. But when your team can only really win if you keep things close for at the end, then you have some comebacks. Like, that's not a sustainable way of winning. Not long term. Sure, it got you to 8-9 this past season, which, by the way, you only really had one comfortable win. That was week 3 against Atlanta. That's it. Like, only we won 30-0. Which Bryce wasn't asked to do much in that game, which is fine. That's okay. But I don't see him as a top 100 player in the NFL either. Now, if you think that he can improve as a player, that's certainly can. You hope so from a former number 1 overall pick. But a former number 1 overall pick's got to be better than 3,000 yards passing and below average play in a lot of cases. And below average completion percentage, below average yards per attempt, below average in a lot of areas. And the offense has got to be better than 27th in the NFL scoring. But okay. But yes, I'm with you in the sense that Bryce Young is not a top 100 player. I was actually quite shocked that he was number 98. But that's me. I kind of share that same opinion with Tom.
Yeah, I'm bullish on his continued development, but I personally wouldn't have put him top 100. But I don't think it makes you a lunatic.
I mean, it might make you a lunatic. That's what Tom said.
Well, let's hopefully if he has a good season this year, it's not as crazy of an idea for him to be in the top 100. So we'll hope for some continued growth there. We'll shift now to some comments from a segment we did yesterday, talking about who the Canes could potentially target in some trades or free agency this week. And this is from a Caniac in the comments who said, "I'd be happy with any of Carlson, Werenski, Robertson, or Hellebuck. Things like Robertson's speed and Werenski being a left shot would need to be considered by the coaches, but it would still be worth it to add any of them."
This is from a Caniac?
A Caniac 5587.
Okay, a Caniac. I would 100% be, I mean, if you add, again, Jason mentioned John Carlson, Jason Robertson, Zach Werenski, Connor Hellebuck. Those are all elite players. Those are all high-end players. Now, of those 4, Zach Werenski just won the Norris Trophy for best defenseman in the NHL this past season. Connor Hellebuyck has won the Vezina Trophy 3 times for best goaltender in the NHL. Also won a Hart Trophy for league MVP. Was the goaltender for the United States that just won a gold medal. And Jason Robertson, by the way, just happens to be a consistent, 90-plus point guy. He's a walking 40-plus goal scorer. And John Carlson still put up 60 points this past season. His name's on the Stanley Cup. He's also a tremendous player as well. Yes, any one of those guys would absolutely make your team better. Any one of those guys makes the Carolina Hurricanes a better team. But the biggest question, though, is, Max, again, is at what cost? Now, John Carlson right now is under rights. His rights are controlled right now by the Carolina Hurricanes up until noon tomorrow, noon Eastern. So they could sign him to an extension, and the only cost, really, it was the 192nd pick in the draft from this past Saturday. A guy by the name of Kyle Masters, whom you just got back from Anaheim. So it cost you nothing to sign him in terms of giving up assets to get him. And then obviously it's whatever the contract is. Now, the other 3 guys, Connor Hellebuyck, Jason Robertson, Zach Werenski, it's going to cost you a ton of assets to go get those guys. And that's the big thing. I don't know if Carolina's willing to give up a ton to get either one of those 3 guys. But they have the assets to do it, but I don't know if they're willing to do so. All right, Max, what's next?
This is from just a video we were talking yesterday about John Carlson being acquired by the Hurricanes and the potential contracts signing that could come as a result from that. And Philip actually has a 3-team trade proposal in the comments
like this.
Here. All right, 3-team trade incoming, he says. Nikishin and Carlson sign and trade going to the Rangers.
Oh, okay.
Columbus Blue Jackets get Trocheck and Schneider and the Canes' first-round pick next year. And the Hurricanes get Werenski. Some other prospects and picks thrown in to make all the math work.
All right, so basically it's the Canes sign and trade Carlson to New York, the Rangers, with Nikishin. And there's a first-round pick that goes out, but Vincent Trocheck, and who else goes from?
Braden Schneider.
The defenseman who's a restricted free agent right now from the Rangers. So they go to the Columbus Blue Jackets.
With that first-round pick.
With the first-round pick coming from Carolina. And Carolina only gets Zach Werenski?
Only. Maybe some picks involved.
Yeah,
picks
maybe some picks and some other
in,
prospects and stuff like that involved.
Even if it was just Zach Werenski, I'll be honest, I'm signing off on that all day long.
You know what? I don't hate it.
You're giving up 2 free agents that
I don't hate it.
Would, in theory, not be playing for the team, plus a first-round pick to get the best defenseman in the NHL from last year. Sign up for that all day long.
Yeah, I think I probably would do that. Now, the question is, did I make the Rangers that much better? It's the Rangers. Rangers don't know what to do with defensemen. Let's call it what it is. You know what? Philip, I like this idea. Because, let's be honest, John Carlson wasn't on your team really anyway. If you look at it in that regard, he could sign with New York if you don't sign him yourself. So, yeah, you're giving up Alexander Nikishin. So, basically, from last year's team, you're trading Alexander Nikishin and getting Zach Werenski. Yeah, I make that move.
Yeah, all day.
I make that move.
I would give up a lot more for Zach Werenski, honestly. So to only have it be that, I feel like everybody kind of gets what they want in that. I feel like maybe Columbus isn't getting the most out of that deal.
No, not at all.
But you could rework it a a bit.
Yeah, exactly. If you know what, you get a prospect as well from the Canes, that kind of stuff. You get a prospect from the Rangers. You can make that happen. All right, Max, we have time for one more.
One more. We'll go over to the reaction from the LaMelo Ball trade when he was sent to the Minnesota Timberwolves. This was, I believe, on Thursday last week.
Yeah.
Thursday or Friday. Thursday last week, LaMelo Ball traded the Minnesota Timberwolves. Along with Josh Green and a pick in return. Hornets got Naz Reid, a 2033 unprotected first-round pick, and a myriad of other pick swaps and second-round picks. And this was a comment from Scott on that video. I don't know how they think they are building now with a 2033 pick. You won't even have the same players in 7 years.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, the only players that you might have in 7 years from now are, you hope, are Brandon Miller and Kotkaniemi, because that means they're franchise cornerstones. But I get it. I mean, getting 2033 unprotected first-round picks, I mean, unless you're trading those out for other assets, those are sixth graders. Those are 6th and 7th graders right now. Like, kids whose voice hasn't even cracked yet. And that's what you traded for. You traded for a couple kids whose voice hasn't cracked yet. You won't shave for another 5 years. So, yeah, I get it. Trust me, the frustration, I 100% get that. I thought, again, I understand if you don't think that LaMelo Ball is a player that can take you beyond maybe just the first round of the playoffs, or is a player that you can feel like can get you to a championship as being the focal point, and you want to sell high. I get that philosophy. I genuinely do. But I feel like the fact that you only got what you got from Minnesota in that regard wasn't worth that, in my opinion.
Nah, yeah, a little bit of an underwhelming return, but
massively underwhelming. Naz Reid's a good player, by the way.
I love Naz Reid.
He's been the NBA Sixth Man of the Year, which is good. Like, it ain't nothing wrong with that. NBA Sixth Man of the Year. He's a good player. But that's it. That's all you got out of the deal. So anyway, I totally get the frustration from Hornets fans. It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. That's Feedback Frenzy. Big thanks to every single one of you out there. Again, subscribe on YouTube. You can leave comments there. Also, follow us on all the social medias, Instagram, TikTok, X, you name it, Facebook. Just search at 999 The Fan. Give us a follow there. You can leave comments in there as well. We'll siphon some comments off of that as well for us to use in Feedback Frenzy in the future as well. But until then, we got to get to the starting five, including the latest on the Carolina Hurricanes and their potential signing of John Carlson. Starting five coming up.
Tim Donnelly here for my good friends at Maynard Service Company. Heating, cooling, plumbing, electrical work, whatever you have, if it's acting up in your house, get it fixed quickly. Please don't go, oh, it's a holiday week and I don't want to deal with it, so that sound the air conditioner's making, we'll deal with it another day. No. As soon as you hear that sound, that clunk, that inefficiency coming from your heating system, cooling system, plumbing, or electrical, you should stop what you're doing and call Maynard Service Company. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all across the triangle. They are your first call when something is acting up in your house. Whether it's maintenance, service calls, or those emergencies in the middle of the night, Maynard Service Company. Keep this number handy, 919-361-0993. Or you can always visit them online at MaynardServices.com. That is MAYNOR services.com. Maynard Service Company, service you can trust.
The Adam Gold Show.
Don't buy this line that Carolina only won the cup because Florida was too broken to challenge for a third straight title. The Hurricanes were the best team in the league. They were way better than they were the previous year. And I know we can't prove it, but I think Carolina would have beaten Florida if the Panthers were standing in their way. Don't worry what Florida did. Make yourself better.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
It's bow time. Ordering Bojangles Bow Bites is the easiest choice you'll make today. The bite-sized hand-breaded chicken is fried to crispy perfection, making it perfect for sharing, snacking, or when you're on the go. Just don't call it a nugget. The only hard part is choosing from our 6 dipping sauces. We've got a sauce for every kind of craving, from our creamy house-made ranch to our sweet and spicy peach honey pepper sauce. It all depends on what kind of mood you're in. Head to your nearest Bojangles today and discover the dippable, shareable, and craveable Bow Bites. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to head on over to Bojangles to try Bojangles' new Bow Bites. Bite-sized, hand-breaded chicken fried to crispy perfection. On the go, they're perfect for snacking or sharing. Dipped in your favorite sauce like creamy house-made ranch or peach honey pepper, they're the perfect way to satisfy your craving for flavor and value. Try Try Bojangles' new Bow Bites. It's an easy choice to make when it's bow time.
June is Men's Health Month, and WakeMed encourages you to get a PSA blood test. Starting at age 45, men should be screened every 2 years. You may need to start earlier if you have a higher risk for prostate cancer or a family history of the disease. A simple blood test checks the level of PSA or prostate-specific antigen in your blood. If levels are elevated, your doctor may recommend additional screening. For more information, visit wakemed.org. That's wakemed.org.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Eagle Leasing Storage Studio. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Canes light the lamp here.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Kat Campbell. A heat wave is in the forecast soon. We'll dip into the upper 60s tonight and then lots of sun for the rest of the week. 97 degrees Wednesday, 100 Thursday, 102 Friday, and 103 for the 4th of July.
5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones closes the day up 136 points to 52,319. This hour of the drive is brought to you by Law Tigers. Injured in a motorcycle accident? Call Law Tigers before you call your insurance company. Case evaluations are always free, and you don't pay a dime until your case settles. Law Tigers, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
It's the drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. Max Gorin producing the show. By the way, coming up here in about 25 minutes, we will have the numbers game. The prize for the day: pair of tickets to see Neo and Akon at Coastal Credit Union Music Park. Numbers game coming up in just a little bit. But until then, Max, we got to get to the starting five. Let's get to the starting five.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It's Serena Williams again. 14 years after that first victory here. Grand Slam number 22. Irresistible, majestic. And the judgment of history will surely be that she was in a class of her own.
The starting five, starting with number 5. By the way, starting five is brought to you by Baker Home Exteriors for roofing, siding, windows, and doors. Trust the team that's been doing work for over 100 years. Baker Home Exteriors, roofing the Carolinas since 1915. You heard it right there at number 5. Serena Williams makes her trip back to Wimbledon. Max, it ended as quickly as it started. Serena Williams losing in 3 sets. She did win the second set in a tiebreaker as well, by the way. Fought back to try and to force the third set, but for the 44-year-old Serena Williams going up against a 20-year-old, I can't remember her name.
Maya Joynes.
Yes, her. Props to Serena for getting back out there and playing.
Props to Serena, and also props to Maya Joynes as a 20-year-old tennis professional who, by the way, was on a 11-match losing streak and lost, I believe, 13 of her last 14 matches, was not in good form this year. To have to face like I think 7-time Wimbledon singles champion and basically like the best female tennis player of all time in your first round matchup, and to be able to step up to the plate and get the win. Even if she's 44 years old, I mean, that's a lot of pressure on you to have to handle that. So big props to Maya Joynes for getting it done and getting the win.
I mean, you had to step up face-to-face with a legend. That's pretty awesome for her. You know, like, wow, like I get to share the same court as Serena Williams. That's pretty cool. I mean, when you really think about it, I mean, like, that's pretty freaking awesome. So, Serena Williams out of Wimbledon, but the fact that she's getting out there still playing Props to Serena. Never know. That might be the last time she plays. That might be the last time she plays at Wimbledon. We don't know. But it's cool to see her back out there playing. All right, that's number 5 on the starting 5. Let's get to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together.
Shot clock down to 7. Simpson around the screen. Fires to Knippel. 3 on the way. It's gone. Con Knippel makes it a 4-point game.
So Con Knippel, formerly of Duke basketball, top 5 pick in the NBA to the Charlotte Hornets. Well, the next Knippel is already committed to play at Duke. His younger brother, 6'10" small forward, Cager Knippel, 4-star recruit. Max, correct me if I'm wrong, I think was ranked 44th.
Yep, Rivals, 44th overall prospect in the 2027 class.
So, yeah, he's top 50 recruit, 4-star. He's committed to Duke, 6'10". Part of the class, by the way, of 2027. So, not arriving at Duke this upcoming academic year, but next upcoming academic year. So, again, the summer of 2027 is when he'll arrive in Durham. I think, Max, the Knippels are just, they're the Plumleys now. They're the Plumleys for Duke.
Maybe even better already with the rookie season that Con Knippel had in the NBA. They could be on the track to be the best Duke family of all time.
Could be. But I think it's really cool that, there's just basically this pipeline of really talented basketball players, which, by the way, usually you see in sports with families. It's like if there's an older sibling that's really good, but then you have the younger siblings are the ones that are usually end up being better because they learn what the older sibling is doing, but just at a younger age. So when they finally reach that level or that age of what the older sibling was, they're already a little bit more advanced. So it's just what you see. So the fact that you have Con Knippel already in the NBA, I'm sure his younger brother Cager has already learned stuff from him already. So Cager's already learning this stuff at the high school level that Con is learning at the pro level. So it's just, again, there's the trickle-down effect with all of it. But that's really cool. I also, from a family standpoint, I think it's also really neat. My fiance, her father went to Davidson. Her brother went to Davidson. So it's kind of like, hey, we all were able to go to Davidson together. So shout out to the Wildcats. But anybody that has that kind of that family lineage to a school, I think is really, really neat. So Duke kind of is going to have that with the Knippels. At least they had Con and now Cager Knippel committed to Duke right now as well. All right, that's number 4 in the starting 5. Let's get to number 3.
It's down to Jose Canales. A few have been in this position for Paraguay, but he scores! Paraguay have done it! Paraguay have won it! And they booted Germany out of the World Cup!
They booted him out. They got rid of him. Shout out to Paraguay for winning last night in PKs. The World Cup continues here. As the starting 5 continues here on The Drive, presented by Baker Exteriors. Baker Home Exteriors for roofing, siding, windows, doors. Trust the team that's been doing work for over 100 years. Baker Home Exteriors, roofing the Carolinas since 1915. World Cup taking place. We actually have the second match of the day, the round of 32. So we're in the knockout stage. This is win or go home. It's like NCAA tournament time, right? Round of 32. This is to get to the Sweet 16. France right now playing against Sweden. In the 10th minute of that contest, that score is 0-0. Earlier today, Mac, actually, let's get to last night. You played the clip, Paraguay beating Germany in penalties yesterday. So that was a 1-1 game. They played the extra time, the extra 30 minutes. Still a draw at that point. All right, we go to PKs. Paraguay wins 4-3 in penalties. We actually had a fun game yesterday afternoon between Brazil and Japan. Brazil was down 1-0 to Japan. They get a goal to tie it. Then they get a late goal to win it. They advance to the round of 16. By the way, that game-winning goal coming in stoppage time, 90+5. Then last night, we saw Morocco take on the Netherlands. Netherlands goes up 1-0 in the 72nd minute. And then in stoppage time, once again, Morocco, 90+1, they tie the game, force extras, gets to penalties. Netherlands scores. Morocco hits a crossbar. Netherlands has a chance to really take control of penalties. They leave the door open for Morocco. Morocco buries it to win it as well. So then, they win it in penalties. They advance. But then today, Max, things got fun earlier today. Norway goes up 1-0. Ivory Coast come back. They tie the game in the 74th minute. And then Kane's legend, huge Caniac, Erling Haaland in the 86th minute, wide open, backdoor tapper, makes it 2-1. Norway advances to the round of 16. They win a knockout stage game for the first time ever.
Yeah, and they're outside of the U.S. men's national team. They're North Carolina's team too, because their base camp is in Greensboro.
That's right. They're at UNCG. That's where their base camp is, UNC Greensboro. So that's the thing. North Carolina-based team. Norway on to the round of 16. So we have right now France, Sweden. They're playing right now. They're in the 12th minute. France heavily favored in this game. France, third-ranked team in the country according to the FIFA rankings. Sweden, 38th. But that's why they play the game, Max. That is why they play the game. Coming up tonight, after France and Sweden, we have Mexico versus Ecuador. That game being played in Mexico City. That place is going to be bonkers. I would love to go watch a game there in Mexico City. I think it would just be fun just to experience it. Max, one of the things that I've enjoyed, obviously the games themselves have been awesome in the World Cup. Like just what we've seen in the knockout stages. Heck, with Canada winning 1-0 on Sunday. Just what we've seen the first 2.5, now 3 days of the knockout stage. Games are awesome. By the way, the United States plays tomorrow. They're one of 3 games that are taking place. England versus the Democratic Republic of Congo at noon tomorrow. Belgium versus Senegal tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Then 8 o'clock tomorrow night. United States versus Bosnia-Herzegovina. I said it right this time, Max. Proud of me for that. But outside of the games just being fun, the atmosphere outside of the games with the fans coming over into the United States, obviously host games being played in Canada and Mexico as well, but just seeing fans and people come from across the world and just experience American culture and different aspects of and facets of American culture really has been a lot of fun to witness and see. And I wish that we had matches in Charlotte at Bank of America, because Max, I would 100% will be down there right now. I would just love to be like, all right, we're sitting with people from Norway and be like, all right, this is Lexington-style barbecue versus Eastern-style barbecue, sharing those kinds of things. You want some Krispy Kreme? Here's a cheer wine and a bow box to go with it. Just sharing those kinds of things that are unique to the state of North Carolina, I think would be a lot of fun to share with Norwegian fans or fans from all over
whatever
the world.
Country. I think there's maybe a chance FIFA saw what happened in the, I think it was Uruguay and Colombia that played in Charlotte like last year or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Ended up with like a disastrous fight in the crowd with some of the players. So maybe they were
was that.
Maybe we skip Charlotte for a site, but it is a good venue for soccer games, and I always have a good time seeing Charlotte FC there. It would have been nice, but ultimately we've left it to very capable other stadiums across the nation.
For sure. I have a friend of mine that she works in Boston. She works in a sports. She works at a news station in the sports department up in Boston. So she's been out there at the games in Boston that are being played. I'm extremely jealous. Extremely jealous of that. So anyway, World Cup continues. Sweden, France playing right now. 0-0. 15 minutes into that one. That's number 3. Let's get to number 2.
Just the two of us. Breaking news out of the NBA. Our Shams Charania reporting that after 8 years, LeBron James, the NBA's all-time leading scorer, will be playing a record 24th season in the NBA, but it will not be with Los Angeles.
All right, you heard it there. LeBron James notified the Lakers He's going the free agent route. He's not going to be a Laker anymore. It's crazy to think. I didn't realize, it's just how time flies. I realized that LeBron played with the Lakers for 8 years. 8 seasons with the Lakers. Because obviously he started his career in Cleveland, went to Miami, went back to Cleveland, then went to LA. Just kind of goes to show you how long this dude's been playing. 24 years. We're about to go into year number 24. It's just... So anyway, that's the big news, is that the Lakers are no longer going to have LeBron James. He's going to hit free agency. The rumor swirling around is that he is going to be headed to the Golden State Warriors, which, by the way, free agency officially starts. It's weird. 7 o'clock Eastern tonight is when free agency officially starts for the NBA. It's a weird time to do it. 7 o'clock at night. But nonetheless, LeBron James not going to be a Laker anymore. The other big NBA news, Max. Do you have the details of the Kawhi Leonard trade from the LA Clippers to the Toronto Raptors?
Yes.
Let's go ahead and get... So Kawhi Leonard traded from the LA Kings to the Toronto Raptors. Max has the details of that trade.
Yep. I don't know if it's official, but this is as reported from Shams Charania just over an hour ago. The LA Clippers are nearing a deal sending Kawhi Leonard to the Toronto Raptors for Brandon Ingram, Grady Dick, 2 first-round picks, 1 pick swap, and 2 second-rounders. Sources tell ESPN. A return to Canada for the Raptors champion and 2-time Finals MVP.
So he spent a short time after getting traded to the Toronto Raptors. They were correctly, it was 2019 when they won the NBA title. He was just with the team for that short bit. Got him over the hump to win the NBA title. Was Finals MVP. Now he's heading back north of the border. Which, by the way, I mean, I think it's a good return. By the way, Brandon Ingram, who played at Duke, I think it's actually a pretty good return for the Clippers, in my opinion. Again, we have to wait and see which 2 first-round picks are actually the ones that are heading from Toronto to the Clippers. And obviously, we have to see what the picks swap and what protections are there. Is this top 10 protected or top 8 protected? There's all these kinds of contingencies that go along with these things. Or if they're unprotected picks, we'll see. But I think it's actually a pretty decent return for the LA Clippers. So those are 2 big pieces of news coming out of the NBA today. LeBron no longer going to be a Laker, which, by the way, the Lakers have $52 million in cap space. 52. Max, do the Charlotte Hornets have the cap space to sign LeBron?
They'll make it work if he's interested.
Can we make it work? Would you? How much would that just turn over the NBA if LeBron was like, you know what? I'm going to the Hornets.
I'd love to see it.
I mean,
I'd love to see it.
Again, pipe dream. But one could imagine, though, right? I mean, come on, we could talk ourselves into this.
Look, we need that veteran point guard.
Hey, be the veteran point guard. You have a backup ball handler, Kobe White, so you don't have to worry about playing every single game. We got Kobe White with you as well. You got plenty of shooters around you with Con Knippel and Brandon Miller. And you got guys that'll clean up the glass and like Moussa Diabate and Steinbeck and like all these other guys. We got Naz Reid. Like, you don't have to worry about trying to rebound. Like, dude, just go create. Just get the ball in your hands and get to your spot, man. Get to your spot. Go create. By the way, Kylian Mbappe just scored to make it 1-0, but the offsides flag comes up. So
I just looked up and he was all alone behind. I was like, surely this can't be a legal play.
He was on a breakaway. I don't know. Was he offsides? To be determined. I don't know. I don't like the offsides rule in soccer. That's a different conversation. All right, Max, that's number 2. Let's get to number 1.
The 1!
Now the face-off at center ice. Net still empty for Vegas. And now here's a turnover. A chance for Ehlers. Bingo! 3-0 Carolina. And you can start to polish the Stanley Cup. The Canes Hurricanes right now are 68 seconds away from winning their second NHL title.
I remember that moment. I remember that moment so vividly. It's one of those things, Max, when you hear Nikolai Ehlers score that empty netter, and you're like, you just knew. Like at that moment, they got this thing. They got this thing. I can remember exactly where I was sitting when that happened. I don't know if you can, but I remember exactly where I was sitting when that happened. I was actually in the press box at Lenovo Center at the watch party because I ended up doing post-game aftermath and all that kind of stuff for Adam Gold because Adam Gold was out there in Vegas. He actually went down to the ice. I knew exactly where I was sitting when that goal was scored. It's one of those memories. It's one of those memories. Maybe, Max, I'll remember where I'm sitting. Maybe I'm sitting in this exact spot when John Carlson does sign with the Carolina Hurricanes. But before we get to the John Carlson and the Carolina Hurricanes, let's get to a bit of business. If John Carlson does sign with the Carolina Hurricanes, to me that just spells the end of time. The end of time, good Lord. To me that spells the end of Alexander Nikishin's time in a Canes sweater. For the latest on Alexander Nikishin, as well as John Carlson, here's Elliot Friedman, who covers the NHL like the ultimate NHL insider for Sportsnet up in Canada. Here's Elliot Friedman earlier today on TSM 590 Sports Radio up in Canada on the latest on Alexander Nikishin and John Carlson when it comes to the Carolina Hurricanes.
I'll tell you this. I think it's heating up around Nikishin. I think I mentioned to you, I don't know if I said it to you or I said it on the pod, I heard the Rangers offered picks, including a first, and Carolina was like, we want a player. I think the Rangers are trying again. We'll see. Like, they really want him, and I think he would be happy going there. I don't know yet how to handicap the Carlson. I know they were talking. I know they were making a run at it, but I don't know yet how to handicap it.
Does that... I guess signing Carlson.
And I'm wondering about Carolina doing another one of those offer sheet threat things. I don't think it's impossible.
So, couple things. By the way, that last one he said, the offer sheet threat things. So the Carolina Hurricanes last year went to the New York Rangers and said, hey, look, Keandre Miller's a restricted free agent. We're going to offer sheet him. Unless you guys want to do a sign and trade. And that's exactly what happened. Now, they tried to do the similar thing with Evan Bouchard. It didn't work out. The Edmonton Oilers signed Evan Bouchard to an extension. But the Carolina Hurricanes were lurking around Keandre Miller's camp and saying, hey, look, told the New York Rangers, we're going to go after Keandre Miller. So do you guys want to work out a deal? And they did. First-round pick, second-round pick, Scott Morrow goes from Carolina to the New York Rangers. Rangers signed Keandre Miller to an 8-year deal at $7.5 million a year, sign and trade to Carolina. I think it worked out well for Carolina. Speaking of the New York Rangers, that's according to Elliot Friedman of Sportsnet. That's whom the New York Rangers are very big on right now is Alexander Nikishin. Now, if I'm the Carolina Hurricanes, if I'm going to trade Nikishin to a team inside my own division, you're darn right I'm going to want a player back. For sure. Not just futures, not just picks. I want a player back. I don't know if there's a player on the New York Rangers that really jumps out to me that I'm like, ooh, go get that guy. But if I'm Carolina, I want a player back if I'm going after if I'm giving up Alexander Nikishin. Now, Elliot Friedman did continue on TSM 590 earlier today, talking about how Nikishin is, in terms of his future, is kind of stuck at the mercy of the Carolina Hurricanes.
The thing you really have with Nikishin is that he has no leverage. Like, he can't sign an offer sheet. He's not arbitration eligible. Like, his power is, I don't know that I think they've offered him a long-term deal, and I think he turned it down, so he might not want to sign there long-term. I don't know. Like, I'm not sure I'm assuming it was one of those Jackson Blake kind of deals. Maybe he's like, I don't know if I want to do that. but, you know, they have a lot of leverage because he doesn't have rights at this point in the CBA. But he's a good player, and people want him, and Carolina's made it very clear. We have a price, and the price includes a player, not just picks.
So, as Elliot Friedman said, no team can sign him to an offer sheet. He doesn't have arbitration rights. So if he doesn't work out a long-term extension with the Canes, or if he doesn't get traded to another team, he just plays under a qualifying offer that was extended to him. Or he just goes back to the KHL. That's really it. So he really has no power and leverage in this regard. But it is also wise of the Carolina Hurricanes to do what's right in terms of negotiating and negotiating in good faith with the team and with the player. Because that agent has other players that you also want to make sure you want to keep a good relationship. Real quick, Chris Johnston of TSN as well as The Athletic. The Carolina Hurricanes do have the rights to John Carlson, the defenseman that played for pretty much his entire career with the Washington Capitals, was traded at the trade deadline from Washington to the Anaheim Ducks. The Canes acquired his rights back on Saturday for the pending unrestricted free agent to negotiate with him before free agency begins at noon tomorrow. Chris Johnston of TSN earlier today, what's the sense that what's the sense that he gets of John Carlson signs with Carolina?
You know, for John Carlson, it's been a busy couple days. His rights were acquired by the Carolina Hurricanes at the draft. Negotiations on a contract have been happening here over the last 48 hours since that happened. And my sense, at least of Tuesday morning, was that was headed in the right direction, that John Carlson liked the prospect of playing in Carolina. He wants a chance to win again before the end of his career. And obviously joining the former Stanley Cup champions and the Hurricanes would give him that opportunity. Of course, so the deal isn't fully done until it's done. But I would say that teams that were out there hoping to be bidding on Carlson on July 1st are going to have to look in another direction.
So it feels like things are working in the right direction. Now, in my opinion, if the Carolina Hurricanes weren't going to get a deal done with John Carlson, that they would have flipped his rights to another team to get something back, as opposed to just letting him go to free agency. So the fact that they haven't done that yet is also important. By the way, Max, real quick before we get to the numbers game here, a couple other things. I have not seen anything regarding a buyout of Jesperi Kotkaniemi. That doesn't mean that transaction hasn't happened. We just haven't received word for it yet.
I don't know. I think it's pretty safe to assume, based on all the reporting we've seen over the last couple of days, too, they think they can probably get some value in a trade, or maybe just hold on to it. Maybe they have some other sort of plan on how they can utilize him. I do have one more Canes note as well.
Go on.
Not as important to the roster, but there's been a leak to Aesthetics about the Hurricanes' hometown remix jersey that's coming next season. It will reportedly feature the Strutton Stormy logo as the logo on that jersey.
We will get into that at 5:45. Because I have thoughts on this as well. I've heard this as well. Anyway, that's the starting five presented by Baker Home Exteriors. We do good work at a profit if we can, at a loss if we must, but always good work. That's the Baker name, Baker Home Exteriors. Before we get to the numbers game, Dennis Cox here real quick for my friends over at Law Tigers. If you have a 2%, 3%, or 4% mortgage rate, don't refinance it. You don't have to, but you can still get the cash out of your home. Introducing Loan Pronto's zero-cost equity loan. That's right. With Loan Pronto, you can get all the cash you need without touching your first mortgage and without any fees. One local homeowner just got $100,000, paid off all their credit cards, paid off their existing HELOC, remodeled their kitchen, and saved over $1,500 per month. It gets better. There's no hard credit pull up front, usually no appraisal, no long drawn-out bank process, and listen, no closing costs. You may even be able to skip your next 2 house payments. Call Loan Pronto now. Leave your low-rate mortgage intact, but get the cash you need in as little as 2 weeks without paying closing costs. LoanPronto.com. See how much you can get right now. 919-381-1760. That's 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. For qualified homeowners, equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSConsumerAccess.org. It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Max, we need 2 contestants for the numbers game. Call 919-860-5326, 919-860-5FAN for your chance to compete in the numbers game and win a pair of tickets to see Neo and Akon at Coastal Credit Union Music Park on July 10th. 919-860-5FAN, 919-860-5326. We need 2 contestants for the numbers game. Pair of tickets to see Neo and Akon on the line. Next.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
I think it's fair to speculate what version of him you're going to get. And that's why I don't think that Giannis had a year to waste when it comes to his career mortality, which is why Boston would have been the more attractive destination. There's a lot of pressure for Giannis to deliver in Miami, and I'm not quite sure that he's going to have the supporting cast to do it in year 1.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
If you're exhausted, not just tired, but worn down, this message is for you. I'm Brandon Giggling, president of Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Across North Carolina, many people wait months, sometimes over a year, just to start sleep care. That wait isn't normal, and it isn't necessary. At Parkway, most patients are seen within weeks, with virtual consultations and home sleep studies that remove unnecessary delays. Sleep care shouldn't have to depend on how long you're willing to wait.
Parkway Sleep, your fastest path to better sleep. Start today at parkwaysleep.com. Sound sleep, sound health.
Adam with Rush Hour Karting here. The last time the Canes came as a team in race was 2006, the year they won the first cup. They came again this year, 20 years later, won the cup again. Rush Hour Karting brings out the best in people. Congratulations, Canes! We're Stanley Cup winners 2026. Woo!
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
It is time to play the numbers game. The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox in for Tim Donnelly. Max Gorin producing the show. That's right, it's time to play the numbers game. We have at stake a pair of tickets to see Neo and Akon at Coastal Credit Union Music Park on Friday, July 10th. Our 2 contestants, we have Lamar and Raleigh, and we have Matt and Raleigh. We need to bring both contestants on the line to determine who goes first. We'll start with Lamar. Lamar and Raleigh, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, Lamar, we're going to ask you and Matt the exact same question, and Max will choose his favorite answer to determine who goes first.
Okay.
4th of July is coming up this weekend. If you're having a cookout, what's the number one thing that goes on the grill for you at a cookout, Lamar? Number one thing.
Got to be some ribs, man. Got to have some ribs.
Okay, Max, any questions regarding the ribs?
Are you an Eastern or Western barbecue type of guy, Lamar?
Ooh, I've had both. I'm going to go with Eastern, though.
Okay, all right. Any further questions, Max, regarding the ribs? Some people like an apple cider vinegar. Just want to throw that out there as well. All right, so Lamar, stay on the line. Let's bring Matt. Matt, are you there?
I am.
Matt, same question to you. You having a cookout? Holiday weekend. What's the number one thing that's got to go on the grill?
You know, I don't think there's anything more American than a hot dog, a glizzy, man. Joey Chestnut's done us well, and I'm going to go with the hot dog.
Max, any questions?
What are you putting on the hot dog, Matt?
I got to go with a little chili, a little mustard, and onion.
Oh, a Carolina style. Okay, all right. Max, any further follow-ups? All right, so we have Lamar talking ribs. He's a big Eastern North Carolina style guy, but ribs. And we have Matt throwing hot dogs on the grill, but with chili, with a little bit of mustard, with the onion as well. Max, what say you? Lamar and his ribs or Matt and his hot dogs?
It's a tough choice. Two great
answers.
Options, no matter what cookout you're at. Both of them, like, I'm more of a Western guy when it comes to barbecue, and then controversially, when it comes to hot dogs, I'm really just a ketchup guy. So
okay, that's fine.
Neither of these two are really doing the style that I would, but everybody has their own squeeze. And when it just comes down to it, I'm going ribs over hot dogs. So we'll give the nod to Lamar.
Okay, so Lamar's going to go first. Don't worry, Matt. You stay on the line. You're going to have your chance. By the way, whomever goes first does have the tiebreaker, unless we have a 5-for-5. That's a little bit different. All right, so Matt, stay on the line. Lamar and Raleigh. Lamar, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, Lamar. We have 4 categories for what you choose from here for the numbers game. We have NFL, all-time Carolina Panthers, Major League Baseball, members of the 30-30 club, so players that have had 30 home runs and 30 stolen bases in the same season, NBA, players who played in the 2026 playoffs, and Carolina Hurricanes throughout history.
Let's go Carolina Hurricanes, man. You know, they won it all, so let's go with the Hurricanes.
Okay, let's go on Hurricanes. 30 seconds on the clock. You do have one pass. Now, because we know it's the Carolina Hurricanes, for the sake of keeping timing and everything equal on both sides, I still will say the team name. So I'm going to give you the name of the player. I still will say the name of the team. You give us the jersey number. 30 seconds on the clock. You do get one pass. Any questions, Lamar, before we get started?
No, let's do it.
All right, your time will start when you hear the horn. Andrei Svechnikov, Carolina Hurricanes.
Andrei Svechnikov, 37.
Correct. Brandon Bussey, Carolina Hurricanes.
That's the goalie. He is 32.
Correct. Riley Nash, Carolina Hurricanes.
Raleigh is pass.
Rob Tamayo, Carolina Hurricanes.
Rob Tamayo. I only know a few of these names. Yeah.
All right, you got two. You got two. It's not bad, Lamar. I will say for future purposes, if you ever play the numbers game again, if you're unsure, just start throwing darts. Just start throwing numbers. You never know. You might hit the bullseye there in that regard. So you got Andrei Svechnikov correct, 37. Brandon Bussey got correct. Where's number 32? Riley Nash, former Carolina Hurricane, wore number 20. And then Rob DeMeo wore number 19 for the Carolina Hurricanes. But you got two. You're the leader in the clubhouse. Stay on the line. We'll see if that holds up against Matt. Matt, are you there?
I am.
All right, Matt. Categories to choose from. NFL, all-time Carolina Hurricanes. Major League Baseball, 30-30 club members. Or NBA, players who played in the 2026 playoffs.
Let's go NBA.
Okay, NBA. So these are players that played in the 2026 playoffs. Same rules apply. 30 seconds on the clock. I'm going to give you the name of the player and the team for which he played for. You give us the jersey number. You do get one pass. You have to beat two. All right? Tie does you no good. You have to beat two. Matt, any questions before we get started?
Nope, all good.
Okay, your time will start when you hear the horn. Donovan Mitchell, Cleveland Cavaliers.
32.
Incorrect. Chet Holmgren, Oklahoma City Thunder.
8.
Incorrect. Donovan Mitchell, Cleveland Cavaliers.
28.
Incorrect. Chet Holmgren, Oklahoma City Thunder.
00.
Incorrect. Donovan Mitchell, Cleveland Cavaliers.
25.
Incorrect. Chet Holmgren, Oklahoma City Thunder.
6.
Incorrect. Donovan Mitchell, Cleveland Cavaliers.
45.
Correct. Austin Reeves, LA Lakers. Missed. I appreciate the fact that you're out there firing darts. So you eventually got Donovan Mitchell with 45. Chet Holmgren, you're just impacting on the surface. Didn't actually quite get there. You said 8 at one point. I think you said 6 as well. You said a 00. Yeah. Chet Holmgren wore 7. And I did say Austin Reeves for the LA Lakers, and Reeves wore 15. You didn't get to that answer in that one. So you got one. It's not enough for a win. But, Matt, you still have a chance. You can call back in and play later on this week if you want to. But if you don't, enjoy your 4th of July hot dogs. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, same to you. Appreciate it. Go America.
You heard that right there. You heard that right there. Team USA, by the way, plays tomorrow in the World Cup. But our winner is Lamar. Lamar, congratulations, my man.
Thank you.
By the way, do you have any 4th of July plans?
A cookout somewhere. I don't know which one. I'm not cooking, but I am going to either my brother's or my sister's house.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. Just go somewhere where there's food. That's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I don't know. I might have to do my cookout at like 8 a.m. How hot it's going to be. Like, you know what? Our cookout, bacon and eggs. Bacon and eggs on the Blackstone. That might be the cookout on 4th of July. But Lamar, stay on the line. Max needs to get some information for you. But congratulations, good sir. You're going to go see Neo and Akon on July 10th at Coastal Credit Union Music Park.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, big thanks for Matt for participating as well. Big thanks to the both of them. Before we move on, we have some potential new jerseys that the Carolina Hurricanes might be wearing. Some leaked information. Max might know a little bit more. But before we get into that conversation, Dennis Cox here real quick for my friends over at Law Tiger. Speaking of holiday weekends, we all know that sometimes people can get a little excited, a little bit rowdy, and maybe have a little bit too much to drink when holidays come about. As a motorcycle rider, make sure you have zero impairment before you get on a bike. But also as a rider, make sure you are as safe as possible and be aware that there might be impaired drivers out there on the road. Make sure you maintain a safe distance as best as possible. As a motorcycle rider, always have an escape. When you're out there on the road, it's one of the first things they teach you when you ride a motorcycle is always have an escape. You always have to be aware that there might be cars that drift into your lane, that cars that might pull out from side streets that just simply don't see you because they're not paying attention. Always have an escape. That way you can avoid disaster. But accidents sometimes are going to happen, and this is where Law Tigers steps in to help you. Give them a call, 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, if you're injured in a motorcycle accident. Law Tigers was built 25 years ago by people from the motorcycle riding community to help motorcycle riders in the case of accidents. Your case evaluation with Law Tigers is always free, and you don't pay a dime until your case settles. So if you're injured in an accident, give them a call, 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, or visit lawtigers.com. Again, 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm. It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. Max Gorin producing the show. We'll have a little bit more Canes conversation coming up, including Max, looks like there might be another way the Carolina Hurricanes are going to get money from my pocket. And a lot of Caniacs out there listening as well. Better start saving up. Next.
Excuse me, you think you could spare a square?
Sorry, what?
A square on your smartphone.
Oh, yeah, for the 99.9 The Fan app.
Exactly. Listen to your favorite hosts, teams, and live sports action.
The Carolina Hurricanes are the best team in the NHL. They won the 2026 Stanley Cup.
And every podcast episode at your fingertips, anytime, anywhere.
Available for Apple iPhone and Android phones. Download the 99.9 The Fan app today.
Is your financial advisor managing your risk or just a spreadsheet? Hi, I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. Many financial advisors rely on target date funds, which are one-size-fits-all portfolios that don't know your name, your family, or your goals. And that passive management can leave you dangerously exposed. At Trajan, we look at the whole picture, not just the stocks everyone else buys, but the private market opportunities most advisors ignore. And as fiduciaries, we build a strategy around you, coordinating your investments, tax strategy, and estate into one cohesive plan. Your financial life deserves more than just a generic portfolio. Real planning isn't a stack of statements. It's the confidence of knowing where your income will come from for the next 30 years. Good enough isn't good enough for your family. It's time for a change. Schedule your complimentary consultation today. Call 855-TRAJAN-1. That's 855-TRAJAN-1.
Advisory services through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Private equity investments require accreditation. Other services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures at TrajanWealth.com.
T-Mobile has an exclusive bundle for customers 55 and up.
I'm Sarah Bowl.
Yeah, I'm Frank Bowl.
A reliable network is key for us. And with T-Mobile, it's been wonderful. And going to the 55 plus plan saved us so much money.
A lot.
And that's important, trying to keep costs down. The home internet's been perfect. It's fast, it's quick. The setup was so easy, it took less than 15 minutes.
It was like, ta-da!
If you want simplicity, coverage, reliability, you want the whole package, T-Mobile has it.
Right now, T-Mobile customers 55 and up can get 2 phone lines on America's best network, plus America's fastest 5G home internet for just $30 each.
$30 per month each line with autopay plus taxes and fees. Minimum age 55. Pricing for home internet rely on 2 lines of Essentials Choice 55. $35 connection charge per line required. Best mobile network and fastest 5G home internet based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 2H 2025. All rights reserved.
France is taking a 1-0 lead over Sweden, killing Mbappe in the 45th minute. So we're in the knockout stages of the World Cup. By the way, it looks like that's going to hold. And it does. He actually had scored earlier, and it was taken off the board because of offsides. He was just on a clear breakaway. I guess he was offsides by like a toe. And that didn't really matter into the play. I have some gripes with offsides in soccer. That's a different conversation for another time. Max, as we continue here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan, Dennis Cox in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. By the way, if you miss any of the show, the Best of the Drive podcast, the Best of the Drive with Tim Donnelly, wherever you discover your favorite podcasts, Apple, Spotify, you name it, you can find it there. Also on 99.9 The Fan's YouTube page, 99.9 The Fan. Just search for it on YouTube, 99.9 The Fan. Search for it, find us there, subscribe. The full show. If you miss any of the show, the full live show, we stream it right there. So you want to go back and listen to it. Maybe you had to go, you're driving in your car, you're listening, you want to finish on a conversation we had. You just go onto our live stream, just scrub back to where you left off, and boom, pick up right there. Or the 99.9 The Fan app, which is free, by the way. App Store, Google Play, it's free. You can listen to us wherever you are. Just take us with you. Or go to 999thefan.com. Listen no matter where you are. Oh, looks like we have a Max. We have a... Oh, I guess it's offside. I was about to say that. I think they're going to call a foul, looking for a penalty kick here for Sweden. But looks like there was an offsides. So, yeah, I think that negated the potential foul. Max, you tease something when it comes to the Carolina Hurricanes and a potential alternate jersey for the Carolina Hurricanes. I believe they're calling this the Canes Hometown Remix is the name of the jersey that they're going to have here?
I think it's going to be like the new Fanatics version of the reverse retros, like their kind of special every team's going to have, like I guess the idea of this line is going to be more centered around, it's like City Edition for NBA jerseys. It's going to be more about the home locations of the teams rather than like reverse retro. That line was more so trying to be like kind of faux throwback type of deal. So I think every team is getting one of these jerseys next season, and we did get some information about what the Canes one is probably going to look like, or at least some aspects of it for this upcoming season.
So, as you mentioned, I've seen this float around a little bit as well, is that the Hometown Remix jersey, which, by the way, remember a few years ago we had the reverse retro for the Carolina Hurricanes, was actually a gray Whalers jersey. It was a gray Whalers jersey.
Was not a fan of that one.
I wasn't the biggest fan of that one either, but it was a Whalers jersey, except it was a gray uniform as opposed to either a blue, a green, or a white. So this remix jersey uniform for the Canes, by all accounts, the main logo on the front is Strut and Stormy, which I'm not going to lie, Max, I see those flying off the shelf. A Strut and Stormy jersey? Canes? Take my money. Shut up and take my money, Max. Shut up and take my money. Now, I'm curious. Is this going to be a white jersey? Is this going to be a gray jersey? Because I'm not going to lie, The Strut and Stormy with the white sweater that he has on there with the red lettering and all that kind of stuff on the Strut and Stormy, that main white logo, you really want it to pop off the jersey. I actually think a dark charcoal, like a dark gray, actually probably would look good. But I could be wrong, Max. I could be wrong. But have you seen any other leaked stuff regarding the remix? I keep looking for stuff, and I keep getting some snippets of things, but no one's feeding me the information I need, Max. Have you seen the jersey?
I haven't, no.
Okay.
I don't know any insider stuff.
Okay, this is what I was hoping you would know things.
No, because I was lucky enough to be involved with the release of the away jersey, the new one for this past season, which saw the first iteration of Strut and Stormy on a jersey, although he's on the shoulder. But apparently this one will allegedly have the Strut and Stormy as the main logo, which I'm actually pretty excited about as well, because I like that logo quite a bit.
I see it flying off the shelves. A lot of kids might like it. That's fine, too, because guess what? Printing money. Max, if there's one thing I do have a gripe with when it comes to the Canes uniforms, I have one gripe. The main uniform is the black uniform at home. The black jersey where it's the warning flag. It's a hockey stick with the two square red flags, the red and black flags, with a little state of North Carolina outline just kind of like weaved in there a little bit. So that's the main primary home uniform, is the black jersey. The road uniform, like you just mentioned, Max, the white one, it's the Hurricane logo, but the colorway is actually a little bit different than normal. It's mostly black and red as opposed to black, red, and white that we normally see the main color Canes Hurricane logo being. So, Max, my biggest gripe when it comes to the Carolina Hurricanes and their uniforms is that their two primary uniforms, their black home uniform and their white road uniform, doesn't have the actual Canes logo as it's intended to be on the uniform, at least on the front of the uniform. I don't like that. Now, what you see on the red jerseys, the actual true Canes logo, to me, that's the logo that needs to be the primary logo on uniform. That's just me. That's a gripe I have with the Canes when it comes to the uniforms, is that their primary logo, which, by the way, I have tattooed on me, so I have proof of what the Canes logo is supposed to look like. You know, the red towards the bottom right, the black towards the top left of the logo, the black and red in the middle with the white, the swirl. That logo, that colorway, is not a logo that is used on either of the main uniforms for the Carolina Hurricanes. I don't get why you can't have your main logo in its proper colorway as the main logo of one of your two primary uniforms. That's just me.
Yeah, we got some comments in our live chat pursuant to the jersey. I don't know if Stormy, the guy's name is Stormy 716 in the chat, is saying it's going to be a dark gray with silver and red and black accents.
Okay.
I don't know if he's seen a source or they've seen a source or maybe they've somehow seen the jersey, but that is the latest rumor regarding the Hurricanes hometown remix jersey.
Okay. I don't hate it. I don't hate the idea of, again, the Strut and Stormy, the home remix uniform, is meant to be a one-off. Maybe you wear it twice, like once at home, once on the road or something like that. But to me, one time, that's fine. And again, a Strut and Stormy, again, this is an alternate uniform, Strut and Stormy on the front. I think it looks cool. The one thing I will say that I appreciate about the Carolina Hurricanes is the fact that they lean heavily into the college atmosphere that the Carolina Hurricanes fans provide, and what the state of North Carolina is known for. College sports, the tailgating culture, and just our collegiate history, and just the rich, deep collegiate history that we have, especially here in the Triangle. They lean into that, and I think that's a great thing, and I think fans obviously do appreciate that too. So the Strut and Stormy gives that collegiate vibe, and I love it. I love it, again, as an alternate uniform. But yeah, on a dark gray, apparently with silver and red and black as like the piping and striping and all that kind of stuff. I'm curious to see what the numbering looks like. Is it going to be white numbers to go with the white logo? Is it going to be like trimmed in red? Is it going to be red? I'm curious to see what this really looks like. Do we have a release date?
Not that I know of.
Okay. Maybe we'll know by tomorrow. Okay, someone actually did just send it to me, like just tag me on Twitter with it. It's like a dark charcoal gray. Oh, that looks good. It's like a dark charcoal gray with Strut and Stormy on there. I like this. I like this a lot. Overdrive coming up next. If the Carolina Hurricanes do not sign John Carlson, what are their alternative methods? Next.
Tim Donnelly here for Maynard Service Company. Heating, cooling, plumbing, electrical work. Anything you need in your house, Maynard Service Company is the number to call. I can tell you this. Obviously, I'm out this week. I'm on vacation. But I want to let everybody know I am at a lake house, and if there's any heating or cooling mishaps, right, if it's too hot, I'm going to be bummed out, right? On vacation, when you're at your home relaxing, you want to be able to relax. That's what Maynard Service Company does. Heating, cooling, plumbing, electrical, the things that you're supposed to take for granted. So give them a call, 919-361-0993, 919-361